My man, Andre of the Weekend Warriors. Thank you so much for coming on for yourself. This
Yes,
wonderful
sir.
new version of the podcast that I'm doing now. It's been a pleasure, getting to know you over the past few years and doing music and stuff and doing all the shows at Headliner and stuff with you. Me and Chris are very, very grateful to you and Joe and the whole Crossfader Records team and everything over there. So, thank you so much for coming on the show. So
Yeah,
talk a
thanks for
little bit
having me.
about this whole the Crossfader Record. You got the shirt, so let's start with that. How's that all going?
Oh God, that's a long story. CrossFit has been around for probably like 8 years or some shit, but we've never like done anything with it. It used to be like a hip hop label, and then I realized all the local rappers were terrible, and they all kind of quit, and we all just like stopped and whatever. So we put that on hiatus. And then we started throwing shows. We tried to throw a show. The first Bass by the Beach ever. I don't know if you were there. It was at Paul's Tavern in Belmore.
No,
And
and the
dude,
first one
it
I
was
went
like
to was
it
at
was like all
Headliner.
ages. It was about to be dumb lit. Like an hour into it, they shut us down. I was fucking up. And then fast forward a year or two later, we got Headliner, started doing those shows. Had a bunch of dope people come out and play, including you guys, of course.
Yeah.
And then we just started getting serious about releasing music about like a few months ago. So now we're trying to do that whole thing. So now we're like a legit label, I guess you could say.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, for a while it was always in the bottom corner of the flyers, the Crossfaded promotions, and
Yeah, it was always just chilling, but we never really like pushed it.
So I'm freaking pumped to be, to have seen it from the get go with all the releases and stuff that you guys are having now. And so who we got so far? We got Oilad and Weekend Warriors. Is there any Cup of Joe?
We got we did the Weekend Warriors release. It's just like a weird glitch hop song. And like whenever we play live, it's like heavy dubstep, so people are probably like, "What's going on?" But we're all over the place with the producing. And then we dropped that Cup of Joe single, "Bang Your Head." I think that charted to like 16 or something. And then Mikey Jockin, who apparently just changed his name to Tonberry like 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah, we dropped his EP on Crossfaded, and that like got to like number 3 or some crazy shit. And I was like, what? So
Hell yeah.
A lot of potential here for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Shit, there's the Oilad stuff that I've heard is so good, man. Because that's right up my alley. That's right up my alley. So I love that. I was so happy. First off, so how'd you come up with Oilad? That shit is fucking perfect, dude. I love it.
I've always just kind of been like getting lit at shows and just going like, "Oi," just like an asshole. And then honestly, I saw this. I think it was like Shivers video, like some like Night Grinders video or something, and like his hype man was like, "Oilad, Shivers," and then like I just started saying Oilad all the time, and then I decided I've been making house music forever, but now I'm into like that G housey, deep housey, bass house kind of stuff, and like that doesn't really make sense for Weekend Warriors. So I just started releasing that. Did Oilad because why not?
Hell yeah, man.
I feel like it's more of a rhythm name, but it kind of works for house too.
Dude, no, it is the perfect name for bass house, man. For tech house too, like, because Oilad just makes me think of Fisher. It just makes me think of Fisher. Like it almost goes hand in hand, and like,
yeah, it's like apparently Oi is like real heavy in Australia. It's like their like theme or something.
Yeah.
Aussie, oi, whatever. I'm not Australian, but whatever, yo.
And then you got Ode to Oi, TJR, classic back in the day. Oh man, TJR was I mean, still he when I first started DJing and stuff, like I was all about Melbourne Bounce. That was like my absolute favorite. TJR, Dioro, Timmy Trumpet, all the Aussie guys, Will Sparks, that was,
All
'cause it was just
fire.
like happy, bouncy, like, and I just freaking loved it. And I always thought, I'm not gonna lie, I always thought when I started making when I finally would make the jump into production, that I would only make Melbourne Bounce. I was like, that's my stuff. That's like what I'm gonna make. And then like, Chris and I went through a whole like, what the fuck are we gonna make, man? Like,
Oh yeah, that's me every day.
dude, we've made so many different genres, and just like my heart right now is in tech house and bass house, like that. That's what I know. Chris is he's much more into the bass house side of the bass house, tech house, and I'm much more into the tech house side. Like I'm Dirty Bird.
They're fire.
That's where my head goes when I'm making music is for that style. And because I think the reason why is because like I haven't had that much like fun dancing and shit at shows since Melbourne Bounce, and like tech house is like the way for me to like really do it, like because I went I literally started growing my hair out again so that I could headbang and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And like, and it just turned into, instead of just headbanging, it just like jumping all around and stuff. And tech house is just so much fun now. I just freaking, I love it. It's
I'm all about it. I've been vibing the house stuff a lot lately.
Hell yeah, man. And then you have like the G house stuff that still gives you that same like
just dirty,
just like dubstep and rhythm and mid tempo. That same like ew face. Like,
oh yeah. When I hear a good dubstep song or a good house song, I just start laughing. I'm just like,
hell yeah, man. Oh man. So tell me a little bit about this soundproofing that you got there, because I need, I don't got any of that. I need to get some of that.
Word. Yeah, I got the plug for you. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So there's this place. Well, Guitar Center obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll give you like 4 of those little squares. Disney Channel.
Yeah.
They'll give you like 4 squares, and that's like $300 or something. I got this entire room for like $100 or something. It's literally like all the way around. Got the bass traps and all that.
Jesus.
And that's from some place called go online, it's like thefoamfactory.com or something.
Hell
You can pick, dude, it's nuts. It's like cheap as hell. You can pick like whatever kind of style you want, whatever color you want. They got everything.
Oh, I'm gonna get red and black. I'm gonna get red and black.
That'll be fresh.
Hell yeah. I think more for that wall, just so the stuff bouncing off of it. I think these walls on the sides are pretty good. Maybe just like a couple squares on either side.
It's definitely nice to have. I heard the difference immediately. Like after I set it all up, I just sat in here and I was like, yep. I was like, it's definitely different in here now. I was like, everything sounds weird. It's nice to have.
The big difference in my room is I took the carpet out, so now it's a little bit more echoey. So now I'm like, I want to get like a space rug, whatever. You know what I mean? Just like area rug. That's a space rug. It's gonna have planets on it.
Shag carpet.
Yeah, I had a carpet, and like, let's be honest, like I didn't vacuum it all the time, like, and I got asthma and shit, so like and it was like a shag rug, so like, it was time for me to replace it, and now I got the hardwood, but now it's a little more echoey in here, so I gotta.
As long as you know the sound of your room, I feel like that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Like this room's not perfect, all the foam and stuff, it's like still so messed up. Like I gotta stand like back there just to like hear the bass. It's crazy.
I mean, and let's be honest, most of my mixing and anything, I have my headphones on. So like,
Yeah.
I mean,
The headphones reveal a lot.
oh yeah, especially I love the Audio Technica ones that I have. It was funny because I have the Pioneer, the HDJ ones, and the HDJ 2000s, and they what I like about them is they have the mono stereo switch,
That's pretty
which
dope.
is freaking I love that. But when I was out live, they seemed quiet, and I didn't realize that it was because of my the Tractor Control S4. It wasn't because of the processing on it or whatever. It was that's what was quiet. Like it wouldn't crank up enough, and because I had to have the gain down so low so it wouldn't clip with my computer and stuff, and
yeah, that
like
makes sense.
on
Yeah.
Tractor. So when I went to Guitar Center and I put on the Audio Technicas, it was like I heard sound for the first time. I was like, oh my God, I hear everything, every single tiny little thing. And I was like, yep, getting these. So now, like, I still have both, but the original reason why I went was because I thought the headphones were why it was quiet. And so then when I came back and I plugged in the Audio Technica ones into the S4, and it was still quiet, I was like, no, what the hell?
He's like, what's happening?
And then, so then both of them, you know, if I plug it into the laptop or if I plug it into, you know, the like CDJs and stuff, they're both freaking fine. And you know what I mean? So whatever.
CDJs
now I got
all
two dope ass pairs of headphones, and one has a mono stereo flip, and the Audio Technicas are a little bit whiter because I haven't, you know, used them as much. You know, the
I just got a pair of the Audio Technicas myself.
Yeah,
I was using like broken headphones the last like year and a half, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I just gotta get headphones.
Oh, man. Dude, it's friggin' I didn't realize how much I cared about the comfort of them too, because these go like all around my ear instead of the Pioneer ones kind of just like collapse the ear.
Yeah.
And just
if you got the
that,
V motors, that shit like chokes you out. You like
yeah.
put it in your neck, it's like
and they don't, the V motors don't twist, right?
I can't remember. Joe had a pair a while back, so we used to use them, but those are long gone now. They sounded good.
The cool thing about them, they do sound really good,
though.
and they do, you can put the customizable like things in them and stuff. Like they have all that stuff. But
oh yeah, like the I guess face plates or whatever you call it. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's just pretty cool. But I'm the older I get, I don't want to say the more mature because I'm still not.
I feel like I'm 12
The older I get, the more I care about comfort. Like I bought a bunch of these shirts that don't have the rose on them. You know, I'm not gonna say the brand or whatever. It's you know, it's a popular brand, whatever. I bought them just because they're so comfortable and they fit so well. Like I don't care. Like I used to care so much. Like, and I just bought a bunch of white ones and a bunch of black ones. Like just black and white. That's it. And I found you know, shorts that I really like, and I bought a bunch of black ones and a bunch of red ones.
You know, like, black and red all day.
Everything. I found dreads that I like, and I put red in it. Oh man. That's all I care about now. It's just the more comfortable I am, the more free I am to just be and relax. And
it's
crazy.
Most definitely.
And you know, maybe crazy isn't the right word. I've talked about this a little bit, how much I try so much to use the right verbiage, and it's like it's awesome. The more, like, I'm a DJ, right? So like I'm crazy like on stage and I'm hype and I'm all this, but like when I'm not performing or I'm not like doing a crazy workout, like yoga, meditation,
just
breathing,
chilling,
like relaxing, like that I love. even more. I'm like,
Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm pretty much the same way. I don't do shit. I just chill all day. I don't get out much.
you got your music cave and beautiful things are coming out of it. So keep doing what you're doing. Oh man, yeah, I'm excited about this whole. There's this Aftershock Productions fam that we've got kind of building up, and I'm excited because I want to get you on the radio show that they're doing. They got the house version and they have the dubstep and rhythm. We can get Weekend Warriors on that and Oilad on the house stuff. So we'll talk more about that.
I'm down for whatever.
We'll definitely talk more about that after this and stuff. But we had a whole like strategy session and stuff last night, and it like laying out the who knows when we can like start doing live shows and stuff again. Like that might be way longer than just people getting back to regular work and stuff. We don't know. But the live streams that we're planning, like all this stuff that we've got, and it's all about giving back too. Like the whole reason why we're throwing any of the events is to raise money and raise awareness for certain different philanthropies and stuff like that. And that stuff is I hold really close to my heart. Like a lot of people don't know, I don't like post about it on Instagram about like being in recovery or that I work at a rehab or anything, but like that's the stuff that means a lot to me, because the more people
it's real shit.
Yeah, like that's real life. Like we love DJing, we love you know what I mean? But like what are we doing with this platform that we're making, right? Like how can we raise awareness for different things and that stuff means a lot and
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, like that and that was the whole dude, that's the whole like reason why Lewis, the guy, made this whole Aftershock thing, was because like he wanted to make like giving back cool, right? So like how do we do that? Let's pair it up with dubstep and rhythm and house music. and we've got like experimental and funk and saxophone players and vocalists, and it's a whole new. I've never been a part of something that's this diverse, and it's awesome getting to know these people and hearing how they got into music and a big theme or a big thing for me with music was it's very healing. Like music helped me survive my emotions as I was growing up. You know what I mean? Like that, you know what I mean? Like
music is medicine. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I don't know who said it, but one of the million quotes in my head that I have no idea who said them, and I wish I did. And like music is the only universal language, and it speaks volumes. It's all different genres, right? Like I don't care that I make tech house and bass house. Like if I had my choice, I'd be on a beach with a straw hat playing a ukulele. Like that's that's my happy place. Like
I need to see you play ukulele now,
dude. And like I don't want to say I have no musical talent, because I'm a DJ and a producer, right? But like playing a ukulele, it's just like whatever the dots are on the on the uke, on the neck of the uke, I know the strumming pattern for a uke, and I just move it back and forth, and like but I don't know I don't have good music theory knowledge to know exactly like what chords and stuff I'm playing.
Yeah, whatever. If it sounds good, sounds good.
Exactly. I mean, I can say that I don't know, what the scales, what it all sounds like and stuff, but I can also say that I had a top 10 bass house beat port,
Yeah.
So
shit, I got my little cheat sheet right next to me.
Yeah. Beautiful. The big thing is that I have Chris D'Souza, who can hear a song and then play it on the piano. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like it balances out my lack of music theory for his over amazing music theory knowledge.
There you go. The yin and yang.
right? Like, and of course the big yin and yang with him and me is that he's very calm and I'm fucking apeshit. Especially on stage. Like Chris is, if anything, you know, he might put his hand up a little bit. And I'm standing on top of the friggin' on top of the DJ, like, yeah.
Let's go. I'm always flailing my arms around, probably dislocated my shoulder a couple times. I've smacked Joe in the face once. He's like smacked me in the face once. Sometimes you got those tight boots.
Dude, so that finally I'm talking to a duo, so we can relate the when you get to a show and there's only one CDJ on each side and a mixer, but you're a duo and you're like,
yeah,
all
two
right.
decks. Like we'll make it work, but it's yeah. If you book a duo, definitely have 4 decks to get maximum performance.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, it would be all like.
So how has it been? You know, I know my experiences with Chris, but how has it been with you guys and getting that chemistry like on stage and how have you been able to develop that with Joe?
I don't really know. That's a good question. We just been DJing together for a long time, like since before Weekend Warriors was a thing. We did like weddings and stuff together. That's how I met him. And I met him at the company and I was like, yeah, like I want to be a dubstep DJ. I want to play shows and all that. And he's like, yeah, like me too. So he would just come over. I had a little Tractor S4 at the time and we were just like going back to back playing tunes. And it seemed like we liked similar music. So we were like, all right, like let's do some shit. Let's get it popping. And yeah, before shows, like we try to get like in the same room together. Be like, yo, this is what we're playing. Kind of get a little familiar with the tunes because sometimes we can't like link up all the time. So like I say half the time we kind of just wing it, and then like the other half the time it's like it's kind of just winging it too. But it's like we have more of an idea of what we're each gonna play. But yeah, some nights we're just like in sync together, and I'm just like, damn, like that set was ridiculous. Other nights we'll be like a little out of it, but still a good set. But when we're like in there, I'm just like, wow. I'm like, good shit. Right? We did
it. It was a big transition for me because I DJ'd for like 8 years before I ever DJ'd with Chris. So like I had all the room, you know, I go ape shit all over the place, but I also like was able, you know, had to, you know, keep my head to like do everything. But Chris and I like, and Chris is also, he's a wide guy, you know, like he's a big dude. We're both short. I'm shorter than him, like, but we're both a little wide. And Chris, you know, he takes up a little bit more space than me. And
right.
So to get that chemistry has been, you know, we've had our you know, bumping elbows literally, you know, about it.
For sure.
You
just reminded me too, like when we first started Weekend Warriors too, this thing that always drove me crazy is for some reason Joe just like couldn't not touch the mixer. So he'd like have his hands on like faders and shit, and I'd be like, dude, I'm like, I gotta mix out, like. So that was definitely a challenge at first, and I'm glad to say he does not do that anymore. But yeah, that was definitely a challenge at first for the whole back-to-back thing.
And the a big part of it was, you know, we know, like Chris and I know we're both competent, good DJs, right? But at first, it was when we first started DJing together, you know, we both had been DJing for years. So when the other one was DJing, we're both kind of just like,
it's like criticizing, like I would have done it like that.
Yeah, like what are you like make sure you okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that's definitely happened before.
Dude, we had to have the conversation with each other, like, look, we're both good DJs, we've got our playlist. let's give each
do what
other
we
space
do.
when we're, you know what I mean? Like get our hands off the mixer, you know, per se, like what you're talking about with Joe. And once when we see, and then here's the other part. It's like sometimes when we did that, when we're mixing out, because when we mix out of a track, you know, we'll turn the lows down so that, you know, the kick of the next track can come in. And especially more with house and stuff, it's not, you know, it's not so much chopping in and out of tracks. It's blending them together a lot more. And
Right.
I mean, you blend them a lot in with your double drops and stuff, but like the intros and outros and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a whole different like transition, so to speak.
Yeah, just like DJing hip hop is way different than DJing friggin' all this, you know. It's like each genre has its own little intricacies and stuff, and so there'll be some times where I'll be in my head like, Chris, kind of back off, but then he'll reach down and save me at the last second and turn the kick the low up so that the new track can come in. I'm like, all right, thanks, man. All right, and then like. Or I'll be mixing out and I'll see Chris go for the effects. And I'm like, no, let me do it. And I'm like, oh, but that was sick.
Yeah. Happy accidents, yeah.
Right, exactly. And the more we just like let each other be, the more the freedom that we get on stage. And it makes it more fun because when it works, and we have great sets, it's like we were in sync. It was like we were one, you know, DJ up there. And
exactly, yeah, that's what I was trying to say before. I think you put it a little better.
I had to get a little spiritual with it. We were one. Our souls meshed together and
synergy.
Yeah. Shout out to Easton, one of the best sticks ever.
Yo, facts. I rocked the synergy when I played.
Hell yeah, man. I remember, so that's another cool thing about, you know, you guys and us. Both of us duos, we grew up playing hockey, right?
Yeah.
So, shout out. And so
obviously the best sport.
Easily. And, you know, how do you, like, the Devils haven't been so good recently, you know, so
yeah,
I've fallen off really like supporting the NHL and stuff, man. I like it's hard to have my heart in it when the Devils are in the bottom of the freaking NHL, you know. It's like,
yeah, I feel you. I go in and out. Like 1 year I'll like watch every game, and then I'll go like 2 years watch nothing. Another year passes, I'll like watch a bunch. I'm like real all over with it.
Yeah,
I love playing.
The only thing that I mean, I think I continue to watch is the playoffs for sure, because there isn't many things that come close to playoff hockey. Oh my God.
Everyone's fighting every 5 seconds to win it.
It's freaking wild, but I growing up playing hockey in Jersey, like such a competitive, you know, area, man, and
I wonder if I've like played you like back in the day.
We're the same age, right? Like, I mean, I grew up playing Mercer Chiefs, Princeton Tigers.
I played both of those teams before.
Yeah, like
Chiefs I've definitely played. Tigers I want to say I've played, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Tigers was my last year of travel hockey before college. Just because the Mercer Chiefs only had an A team, and so I went to AA Princeton Tigers, and you know that it was like the Tigers, the Chiefs, and the Flames were the biggest rivalry. So like it broke my heart to like go to Princeton.
Yeah.
Like I was like, but at the same time, like it was so cool, like playing on Hobey Baker Arena. Like that, Hobey Baker is the award for the MVP of college hockey. So it's like there's so much history. It's Princeton, like you're playing on Princeton University's friggin', you know, rink and stuff. So like it also felt weird because like growing up a Devils fan, wearing the red and black for the Chiefs, and hating the Flyers so much, and then wearing orange and black. Like,
like what's going on?
I was like,
here?
What am I doing? This is wild. Like,
who am I? I don't know who I am anymore.
right? Questioning every time I put on the orange, black, and white socks. What is this?
Oh God.
But oh man, I have people say Philadelphia fans are the I'll say the most passionate. That's what I'll say. We'll say it in a nice good way. And because listen, I went to college at Westchester University, half hour, 45 minutes south of Philly, and most of my friends there are all Philadelphia fans and stuff. And
Yeah.
and listen, I love those guys. My fraternity brothers, all the people that I met at Westchester, I love them so much. So for me to say they're anything negative, about their fans and stuff like that, that's just trashing like so many amazing friendships that I've made. You know what I mean? Like there's such good people that I've met in my life that are Philadelphia fans. So like I can't say that.
Yeah, I feel you. I haven't been to enough Philly games.
Dude, and the tailgates there, like I'll go with my friends, especially when I was in college and stuff. Like I would go, but like I'm not gonna go there wearing Devils stuff, like being the only Devils fan going.
People will be throwing like cheeseburgers at you and shit.
Like, it's one thing. Like I've gone to a couple Flyers Devils games at, I think Wells Fargo is what it's called. But like with my family, and like all of us rocking Devils jerseys instead,
You gotta go as a pack.
Yeah, exactly. And then every now and then, like you see a Devils jersey walking by, you're like, yeah, nice, pound it. We're good. We're safe.
Then you like turn the corner and you see him getting beaten up, and you're like, oh
yeah. All right. Good shit, man. So how did the whole headliner Based by the Beach come together, man? That is such a like historic venue there,
Yeah. So headliner was like when I turned 21. That was probably like the second place I went to like get drunk and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Like that night was like insane. It was like sold out, like shoulder to shoulder, whole place. Headliner, it's big as hell. So that place sold out. It's like, what? So yeah, I went there, sold out. I forget who was playing. I think it was this dude like Carlos Melange or something like that. I never heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
But he was throwing down like pretty much like Tomorrowland House, like Martin Garrix type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, word. I was like, this is pretty lit. I was like, I would totally love to DJ here. And then it took me like 3 tries. I went there at least once a year for like 3 years. And then finally on the 3rd year, I talked to the guy and I was like, I was like trying to throw some shows. I was like, New Jersey is nothing. I was like, let's do it. And then I guess he was just like, all right, yeah, let's try it out. And then started doing that every month. And we kind of cut back on it now. But obviously you can't do it right now, but we'll be back.
Hell yeah, man. Headliner, it's funny. I'll say I'll never forget, but I blacked out that night. Like the first time that I went there was a wild, like you said, like packed friggin' house there. And I just remember like being inside and like barely able to move, and then going outside and like seeing the whole, like how you can be outside and at the bars. This is before the pool and everything there.
Yeah.
And just being like, why aren't there more places that have this atmosphere? They have so much space here. Like you can do so much. And and then the night goes on.
Nice venue.
It's such a good venue. And then especially with the summers that come on now, they've got the pool. Like you can do day parties there, and you can do the night stuff. And then there's not many places in Jersey. Like you usually have to go to Philly or New York to get good EDM. Like it's usually top 40 places. And
there's nothing here
in Jersey.
Nothing.
So,
even Atlantic City, you go to see like Zed's Dead or GTA or something, and like they don't play a normal set. They play like some bullshit top 40 set, and I'm like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have the big guys doing that, it's kind of depressing.
Right, and it's like I've heard a story where I forget. I think it wasn't Tiesto, but it was someone like kind of on his level, where the owner of the club like came to that DJ and was like, "You need to play like this was at like 11 in Miami. Like you
And
need
they're
to
like, you
play,
need to play like Hot 97 or
yeah, like you need to play some
Z100.
more popular stuff." And the DJ was like, this is my new album's out. Like I'm promoting my new album.
I would
Like,
just be like, bro, why did you book me? Do some research, guy.
right?
Like, what are you doing?
It's that battle that we gotta face, and the whole Marshmello now being on like the radio and stuff is just, it's good for EDM all around, and Millennium even being on the radio, and Good Things Fall Apart, man. Like
I like Marshmello.
dude,
Not gonna lie.
I love Marshmello. I don't care what anybody, a lot of DJs and producers are like, oh, it's commercial, it's this, it was a contrived thing. Like, I don't give a
Whatever,
shit.
yeah,
His
it's
music
pretty
comes
good,
on,
in my
makes me
opinion.
happy. Like,
Makes you feel like a marshmallow.
right? Who doesn't love marshmallows? Right? No. That's the
Weird
whole.
people I don't trust.
Yeah,
Don't like
exactly. No, but that was the whole, marketing plan behind Marshmello, and it's worked. Now people they'll see a festival lineup where they don't know anybody, but they know Marshmello, so now they want to come to that festival, and then Marshmello plays at 10 o'clock at night, and they're there all day, and they get to experience like all the other genres and all the other artists that are there, and then they get exposed to that, and now they see, and there's nothing compares, like playing a song on your iTunes on your laptop, or playing a song on Spotify does not compare to seeing any genre of electronic music out live.
Oh yeah, it's once you see it live, it's like if you've never been to, like, I hate to say the word EDM, but if you've never been to like an EDM show, like dubstep, house, anything, it's just like it's totally different when you're there. Like, you gotta like feel the bass. It's like insane.
Oh yeah, man. The performances that people put on, and then especially like the bigger guys that have all the access to the visuals, the pyros, the lighting, the lasers, the everything,
All that good stuff.
That all that put together is that performance, and being there and experiencing it is like better than any drug that I ever did in my life. It's like,
hell yeah.
And then being on stage, that takes it to a whole nother level when it's actually me like doing it.
Just watching it all come together.
And
the finished product.
Right, and I'll say that for every live bands, live music in general. Like, if you like an artist, like, go see them live. Like, that's my biggest suggestion I have. Like, and even if you're questioning an artist, if you don't like an artist, go see them live. I promise you, at the end of the show, you'll probably like them. Like, it's I've seen so many different genres of shows and stuff, and once you experience it live, like, I mean, literally 2011 ID Fest in Philly, like, I saw Excision live and was like, yup, this is what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. Like, this is it. Like,
Excision tends to do that to people. My first dubstep show was Excision back in like 2011 or 10 or something.
Yep.
And I was like, yep. I was like, this is me now.
Hell yeah, man. The first show I ever went to with electronic music was actually Dayglow in Philly. That same year, 2011, I went, and I was only going because it was Dayglow and it was at Temple, and I knew some people going and stuff.
He's like, where it's gonna be lit.
Right, like, I had no idea who the DJ was until I got there, and when I got there, it was friggin' Sidney Sampson, like a legend with Dutch house music, a legend. And I just see his name come up on the board, and I'm like, Sidney Sampson? That is the best name. Like that's his real name. That is such a sick name. Like, and then I hear Riverside, motherfucker. Bum, 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 bum. And I'm like, this is life. Like,
it's like, what have I been doing?
And from then on, like I had liked, you know, back in high school, you know, you got Cascada, and then you got Daft Punk and Fatboy Slim before that. Like, all that stuff was always like so intriguing to me. And like, cause I was always wild. Like, I'm playing hockey, like you hear all the most wild music and
yeah.
And all these people, so much energy. Like, I always had so much energy, and so that music, like the faster beats per minute, it just gets the heart going. It's like right on pace, and
yeah, the energy is unmatched as far as concerts, I have to say. Like,
absolutely.
And I've been to metal shows, I've been to rap shows, I've been to like everything. Nothing comes close to fucking anything.
Right? And the amount of love at these shows, it's never like, at, you know, I'm not going to say what genre or whatever. There's never the banging of the heads. It's always love at these festivals, these shows, you know, peace, love.
Yeah, for the most part, definitely. Yeah, I have seen someone get cracked at Webster Hall before.
I mean, you also do have mosh pits now and stuff like that. That stuff didn't exist, you know, until trap music and dubstep really hit the scene.
Yeah, I nearly got my eye poked out on my birthday in December at Sudden Death. Opens up a, what do you call it? I'm like blanking, wall of death or whatever. Last song, I'm like, all right, I'm running in. So I like run in. And this is like girl next to me like runs in too. She gets like tossed, obviously, because it's like wall of death. And then like she had her phone in her hand and it like swung back, hit me like directly in the eye. I was just like, oh. I was like crying the whole ride home. I was like, oh.
Oh shit, man. Did you like crack an orbital bone? Like,
I don't know. I didn't even like get it checked out or anything. I just put in some eye drops.
Classic, you know, classic hockey player move. Right?
I broke my arm. I don't care. I'm still playing.
Just strap a piece of wood to it and keep going. Like,
when's my next shift, coach?
It's the only sport where you can get stitches and get back in the game.
Yeah, I've sprained my ankle, like broke my ankle during games and still finished. I didn't even realize it was broken.
Just tie the skate tighter.
Go to the doctor. They're like, "How are you walking?" I'm like, "What?" They just like give me all that shit.
Oh man, I've never had a crazy enough injury in hockey to take me out. Like, I tore my ACL. I tore my ACL in flag football, not in hockey.
Oh my god. I split my femur in half during a hockey practice. Wasn't even a game.
How did you do that?
Oh my god. I guess we were just doing like random like 1v1 drills or something. And like this was like probably like the best I was at hockey in my life. And like I was going like full speed, killing it. And then my skate like somehow clipped onto my other homie's skate. So it made me like slip out, whatever. I'm going full speed towards the boards. So I like see if I like kind of like stick my leg out, try to like dig in and like stop, you know? But I guess I was going too fast or my skate blades were too dull or something. I just wasn't stopping. So I went like leg first into the fucking boards. Couldn't walk for like a year and a half or something. Yeah, they put like metal rods in there and shit.
You got to get like a half body cast when you break your femur, right?
No, like that's what they used to do. But this happened to me in I think like 2006. And they ended up putting like 3 metal rods in my leg, which I actually have them. They took them out and they gave them to me like 2 years later.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I don't know. That was just crazy.
Dude,
I was going to school in a wheelchair and shit.
holy shit, man. Your femur's the hardest bone in the body to break.
So they say.
Oh my God. How much did that friggin' were you screaming, dude? Like how much pain were you in? Oh my God.
I didn't really feel it at first because I guess all the shock, but like
Yeah.
as soon as I was in the ambulance, like every time it took a turn, I was just like, oh! and then when I was at the hospital, I was like, the dude was trying to take X-rays of me, and I was like, dude, I almost blacked out of pain at that point. Like I was like screaming at him. I was probably saying horrible things.
Yes,
And
16-year-old Andre with a broken femur. Like,
yeah,
nothing
dude,
good's coming out of your mouth. Like,
yeah, dude, I was like screaming like bloody murder, and then like 3 hours later, I'm like half unconscious, just I don't even know what's happening. The lady comes out with my X-ray, my bones literally like in half, and then it kind of like crisscrossed.
oh,
It didn't pop out the skin or anything, but it probably came close. It was nuts.
oh man. That I can't imagine that. That's friggin' oh, my beautiful thighs. Yeah, that the only thing that even comes close to breaking my femur was tearing my ACL.
Yeah, that's no walk in the park either.
That, but it wasn't as painful as like it was like halfway torn. It wasn't a full tear. So I've heard people that talk about the ACL being like so excruciating and when it happens and stuff. And when it first happened, like I knew my leg went away that it wasn't supposed to. I was like, that was not right. Like I had enough kinetic awareness to be like, my leg did not just go away. It was supposed to.
Yeah.
And so I'm on the ground and my teammates are like yelling, like, come on, like get up. And I'm like, I can't.
Like, no, not happening.
Somebody help me out. And so I go off to the side and I'm like, I'm sitting on the side and I'm like, it's not like swelling up that bad. And like, it doesn't hurt. I'm like, let me
In denial.
try to get up. And so like, I get up and I'm standing there. All my weight's on my left leg, not on the right leg where it tore. And I'm like, slowly, I'm taking baby steps, like putting a little pressure. I'm like, I think it's good. And I'm like, I go like squat down and I just fully sit down and I'm like, yep, okay. It's not.
It's like,
it wasn't. I wasn't squatting and getting back up. That's for sure. My leg was just like it just gave out. And in my head I'm like, hopefully it's like not it's just like meniscus or like something not as serious as ACL. And because that as like a an athlete that's something in the back of my head that I never thought would happen to me. You don't think it's possible. Like you feel, I don't feel invincible, but like there's a little bit of that. Like I'm not gonna get hurt. Like I'm not that guy. Like I'm not tearing my ACL. And like when the doctor comes back and he's like, yeah, from the MRI, he's like, here's your the MRI, you tore your ACL. And you're just like,
God damn it.
no, that means the next year of my life is gonna be like getting back to normal. Like but
like that.
so much growth came from that though. Like I was able to rebuild like all my big lifts. I would start from scratch, just raising my leg off the table to being able to squat and deadlift again and stuff. And
hell yeah.
And then competing finally in powerlifting and lifting way more weight than I had ever lifted before the ACL. Like it was a big transition, a big like shit. Like I did it. Like what? Like so it
gotta overcome.
Yeah, man. And having the amount of weight of my personal records go up that much, like over 100 pounds for the squat and the deadlift from before the ACL to after the tear and rebuilding it. It was like so there's not many things that were more gratifying than that in my life.
Yeah.
Like Uh, injuries, man. That, like I said, like we talk about like being comfortable, like in clothes and stuff. Like with my workouts, like how much more stretching and like
Oh
yoga
yeah.
that I'm doing instead of just constant, beating the body up. Like how much more I treasure the recovery and the sleep part of it. Like
Yeah, that part's
that.
important. Yeah.
Oh, I always thought it was like balls to the walls all the freaking time. That's it. That's how you get stronger. That's how you get better. And it's like, no, like sleeping and like hydrating is like
Yeah, yeah.
important. Like how many
Shit,
hockey
people in the
practices?
NFL get like ice baths and all that. They play a game, they're literally like in hibernation.
Yeah, like how many practices did you have where coach was like, no water? Like yeah. Now I'm like,
You
that's
drink water, you're a pussy.
yeah. Like that shit's abuse.
Yeah, facts.
But it builds character, right? That's what you need.
Intensity.
Oh man, and even now live shows, like I'm killing like 3 bottles of water on stage. I'm like,
Oh yeah, if I don't have a drink on stage, I'll be there the whole set, just like.
yeah. Get on the mic and gotta try and wet the whole mouth first.
The worst cotton mouth ever. Gotta plug this in real quick.
Good.
Too lazy to move the charger, so I'll just move the computer. Change of scenery.
I love it. It's beautiful. That's where the magic's made.
Oh yeah.
So what's going on? What kind of releases do you have? Any schedule? How much are you making new music during this quarantine? What's going on?
Yeah, so I'm like super behind on releases. Like that Oilad tape I just dropped like last week, those are all like a year old, some maybe 2 years old. And then I already have a whole new Oilad EP done. Well, not done, but almost done. So I'm trying to wrap that up. I like this one a whole lot better, the new shit. And then Weekend Warriors, I've been sitting on this. There's so many unreleased Weekend Warriors songs. It's like kind of overwhelming.
Hell
But
yeah.
me and Joe are trying to set up this EP right now, and all those songs are kind of old too, but we never released them. We've played them live and gotten like crazy responses. People go nuts, yelling, mosh pits, whatever. And then so we have like about 8 songs on there, and we're trying to like. I'm just not happy with it. Like I like it, but I feel like the quality could be like a little better. It's
Mm-hmm.
not where I want it to be. So I'm just like kind of like don't even want to put it out, but we got to put something out. And shit, what was I gonna say? I don't remember.
Well, with all the music, like the more we make, the better we get, right? Like the quality keeps going up, and our standards are,
Yeah,
it's up here, and it'll never reach. Like
yeah, I'll
you
probably
can't see
never
my
be
hand.
happy with it.
So like all we can do is we gotta. I know like a big tough part about production is knowing when the song, not knowing when it's done, but like making it done. Like just like I can't keep tweaking. It's been 50 hours in the studio on one track. Like we need to, if the goal is to get it to where like I don't spend more than 20 hours in the studio from idea phase to mastering stage with Chris in the studio.
Yeah, if I don't finish like the song, like if I start a project and I don't finish like at least writing the song in like that like first session, it never gets done. Like I'll write a song in one session, or I'll just have some project file that just gets lost in the dust.
I hear that, man. And I mean, how many? I know our first release, like Game Over for the remote controllers was not our first release, but it was the first release as the remote controllers, and we're really happy with that track. But the
Oh yeah,
other two that we released,
tracks fire.
thank you. But the other two that we released, I don't even want people to know.
Yeah. If you feel that way, just delete it.
Right? Like it's not under the remote controllers. Like it's under Ryan, Janni, and Churs, and then it's under RC. And then we finally like stuck with the remote controllers. Like, well, no, let's make RC stand for something. And
right,
besides
I
just
remember
Ryan
that
and Chris,
transition.
So yeah, man, that the more we come out with music, the happier. The more we finish music, it's like each song that we work on, like, nah, that's our new favorite. Like, that's our new.
Yeah,
Also because
that's how it should be.
yeah, of course, and the quality should continue to go up, and we always try something new with new songs and stuff, and
Hell yeah.
it's just about getting better. It's just getting better, man. And
Yeah.
as the music quality comes up to our taste, then we're a little bit more happy.
Yeah. Oh my God, I just remembered what I was trying to say before. Why we never released music as Weekend Warriors, because that EP that we're about to release, we sent that shit to like mad labels, and like 3 of them were like, yeah, like let's drop it. And then I was like, all right, hell yeah. So like I didn't do anything with them. I kind of just kept them chilling, waiting for the label's response. And then all 3 labels were just like, yeah, we're not interested anymore. I was like, what? Like, bro, I just waited like pretty much a year to release this music. And like 3 different people were like, yeah, and then no. So I was like, all right, whatever. That's another reason why we started pushing Crossfaded more too, because like I'm not trying to hear from labels like, yeah, like we're gonna release your shit, let's do it. And then I'm like, and then I get hype. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then like a month later, you hear nothing. You finally, it's hard to get into contact with them to begin with.
Yeah.
And then when you finally do, it's just like, oh God.
There's so many
But yeah,
people.
they'll be dropping soon.
I mean, Crossfaded. Let's go. Yeah, the W. Hell yeah. That's freaking awesome.
To all the Rage fam, Weekend Warriors, new shit coming soon.
Yes.
Sorry for the wait. We haven't released anything in like a year.
Dude, so many of those tracks. I mean, I guess I've probably heard them with your performances out live and stuff. So I'm pumped that you guys are gonna finally release and stuff. And I've you guys got a special place in mine and Chris's heart with how much you've helped us and grow and stuff too, man. And I mean, the first time you booked us, we were just Ryan, Janni, and Churs, and Ryan, Janni, and Chris and Sousa, and you've seen all this, and then we're just gonna be RC, and now we're like,
yeah.
We have a flyer with you guys with all 3 of the the evolution of the remote controllers, and we go back and forth with like how much we love the name the remote controllers and how much we're like, should we? Janni and Sousa is another one that I've been flirting with, but like how many name people like duos are there? Like I don't know. I just think the remote control.
Soonery James and Ryan Marciano.
Love them. Like Cup of Joe with his other, Smith and Soren. But
oh yeah.
Riggy and Piros, Walker and Royce, like they're all awesome. Like I love them all, but like the remote controllers it's original. So I think it intrigues the mind if someone sees that on a flyer. They're like, what is the remote controllers? What? I like
it. I'm a
like
fan.
a TV remote? Like what is that? Like, so we'll see, man. We're not. I've learned to not be married to anything, in my life.
Yeah, I feel you. I try to stay pretty like open. I don't want to throw myself in the rhythm hole.
Right? Yeah. I hear you. That's why, like right now, we've come out with a couple bass house tracks we're coming out with a couple bass house tracks. But like I really want to go more into tech house, but Chris loves techno, and like the more he's exposed me to it, the more I love techno, and like
oh man,
I'm like, fuck it, dude, like that's great. And then
Yeah, whatever you're feeling, just gotta go with it.
right, like if it sounds good and I want to play that and in a set, like I'm playing it. Like I don't care what the genre is. It's
Hell yeah, and they're all pretty like linked together. Like you can throw down like bass house, G house, and tech all in the same set without it sounding like weird or anything. They all kind of flow together. So
absolutely. Now with with Annie Up and Fisher and stuff, the genres are so blended with bass house and tech house especially. It like because you have tech house that's like Claude Von Stroke that you would not say is bass housey, but then you have like Fisher stuff and Chris Lake and Annie Up that you're like, it's a 3-minute tech house song. That it's probably more bass house than tech house, and it's got the elements to it and stuff. And so it's
as time goes by, genres will keep blending.
Yeah, they peaks and valleys with all the genres. I mean, when EDM really blew up is like when Skrillex and shit came out. Like
as far as America anyway.
Yeah, definitely America. I was talking about that with Kyle, freaking 88, how like back in the day when we were growing up, like EDM was techno. Right, like that's what we called it.
Everyone,
right?
Everyone called, that was like the word, anything like, electronic automatically. Oh, you're listening to that techno shit.
Meanwhile, like in Europe, like they had trance, they had techno, they had house, they had all the different genres, and Dutch house was different than tribal house, and they knew that over in Europe. But over here, all of those were techno. Then that transitioned kind of into all of it being called EDM.
Yeah.
And now like people who aren't like who don't go to festivals all the time, people who don't produce it and stuff, like if they hear Skrillex versus Claude Von Stroke, it's all EDM to them. It's not like that's dubstep and that's tech house. So
Skrillex, techno.
Yeah, totally.
Listen to that techno DJ Skrillex.
Right? I would love to see.
Actually, honestly, he probably is releasing techno now. Skrillex is all over the place.
Dude, I mean, he's got so many different, not aliases, but duos like Dog Blood and Jack U and stuff.
Right.
I'm excited for that. Like, when's the next Skrillex project coming? Like, I can't wait to hear. Like, I have a feeling it's going to be house music-ish.
He's been super housey lately.
I mean, dude. Oh, well, actually, Midnight Hour. That was bass house. Shout out. We were on the charts the same time Midnight Hour and Game Over. Both top 10 there. That was fun. That was, seriously, that was so humbling to see freaking Skrillex, like Chris Lorenzo, Chris Lake, Wax Motif, like all these guys that I've not grew up listening, but in my, the evolution of electronic music in my life, like all these guys that have somehow or another, either I've had an experience at their show or have influenced me in some way. It's so cool to now be able to say like, these are our peers, right? Like,
oh yeah, dude, it's insane. Like if you told me half the shit I've done in the last 2-3 years, if you told me like I was gonna do that like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd have been like, you're out of your damn mind.
Some of the shows,
like I used to joke around with like friends, like when I was like first starting making beats and I was like terrible, I would like make like a shitty dubstep song, like terrible quality, terrible everything, and then like my friends would be like, oh yeah, like you'll be on like UKF like Beatport top 10 or whatever, and then like fast forward to now, it's like shit, like I got a track on UKF and I've been on the Beatport like top 100 whatever, so it's like damn, it's like it's just weird how it kind of just all came together,
right? Like
saying shit out loud just happens, just manifests.
Hell yeah, man. It's there's something to the whole like people talk about manifesting your dreams and your goals and stuff.
That shit's real.
Like,
that shit is real.
Energy, just putting that energy out there, man. Like I'll never forget like there's specific times, like points in my life and my career where I was like, I legitimately said that exact thing, and that exact thing happened 3 months later. Like,
Yeah.
mind blowing. Like, I remember it was probably January, February of 2017 where I was like, Noto is a sick freaking club. I went there. I
It is a
saw, I
sick
think,
club.
Timmy Trumpet, and I was like, I'm gonna get a gig here. Like, I'm gonna get a residency. I'm gonna do something with Noto. And then sure enough, it was Cinco de Mayo, I think it was, where we had our first, opening gig for the bingo players. And like, I remember seeing bingo players back in 2013 looking up on stage and being like, why is there only one guy
Oh no,
on
yeah,
stage?
that's a sad story.
Dude, and then looking on my phone on, like, I don't know if it was EDM Train at that time. I don't think EDM Train might have been around then, but seeing that it said they had 2 gigs in New York, or 2 gigs in Philly or New York, I forget. No, Philly. It was definitely Philly. They had 2 gigs in Philly, and I'm like, okay, so one guy went to one and one guy went to the other. Like, that's cool. Like, that's sick that they could do that. And then like later that week, like hearing that Paul had went to the hospital and he had cancer, and then like a couple months later, RIP, fuck cancer, fucking, oh my God.
Yeah, I remember that post, and then they were like, "We will always be bingo players," like
Yeah.
plural. And I was
Hell
just
yeah,
like,
man.
"Yeah."
Yeah,
It's funny. It's not funny, but me and Joe said the same shit. We're like, if one of us dies, it's still Weekend Warriors.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. That stuff, bingo players was, when Rattle came out, like freaking,
Oh yeah, that's a tune.
yeah, Rattle, cried just a little. I remember all those tracks, and how much I friggin' loved, Dutch House at that time, and that was one of those moments where I was like, see, I knew that shit was good. And like, but I take it back and be like, damn, like, I should keep saying shit out loud. I should keep writing these
Yeah,
goals down. Like,
yeah.
I
It sounds
legitimately
stupid, but it's
manifested that
true.
shit. Like,
Yeah. I told people that I went to like Lost Lands, and I was like, first year of Lost Lands, and I was all like wasted and stuff. And that's like when I like first got into the scene, started making like moves, meeting all these people. And I was just like preaching to like my like little camp family. I was like, yeah, I was like, write down goals, say shit out loud. I was like, that shit works. And then like
oh yeah.
some of them listen to me, like they still say that shit now. So I'm like, we're all right.
Hell yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah, it's a very real thing for sure.
dude, over this quarantine, I've really taken to every day writing down, my to-do list of things that's helped me, stay really productive during this time. And, I mean, starting this was, manifested because I was writing stuff down and trying to figure out how I can, just get more content out there. And then like thinking of like, what can I do that'll be content that I can put out, but that's going to help as many people as possible. And so thinking of the whole, so many comedians have so many podcasts, and I mean so many businesses and stuff now too. It's like everything, but like I don't see a lot of music producers have anything besides radio shows, like to actually have producers and DJs come on and people get to know them, instead of just hearing their music or seeing pictures on Instagram. And so I wanted to, kind of have a forum where we can just get to know the
Be a little human.
and like I want people to not just see the one side of DJing where like, oh my God, DJing is like the most fun. It's got to be the best job ever. And like, trust me, I believe that shit.
It's got its ups and downs.
but it's freaking the struggle, the self-doubt that comes along, like
It's
and then,
definitely not easy.
yeah, like how many times have you had to dig yourself out of a hole just being like, look, like uh, at the beginning of the day, you're like this isn't gonna work, this isn't happening, this isn't, and then by the end of the day, you finally like dig yourself out of the hole, like, nah, like, come on, Ryan, you just had a bad day, like.
Yeah.
Oh man, the only thing, the thing that I keep in my head is like the only people that fail are the people that quit. So like, no matter what, this is what I decided.
Yo, speaking of that, did you hear that Joyride album?
Bro,
Because there's
first
literally
off,
a song called Failure, and it's like, you don't fail until you quit. It's like all like motivational and shit. I was like, word.
hell yeah. I'd heard a couple, like he released a couple of those tracks beforehand, but the whole story behind it too, like you hear like he broke his neck or something like that, or he had to get like screws in plates or something, or no, lower back or neck.
That's like his actual X-ray or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's why it's called Brave, because like he went through a whole thing with like pills and stuff after that. You're gonna be on pills, for the pain and stuff for that, and
Yeah.
um and
Damn, I
like,
didn't know any of that, but I
dude,
listened to the album and I was like, oh my god. Like I haven't like liked an album in like forever. And I like heard that and I was like, oh, it's like all I've been listening to.
dude, it's so good, and he like dips into so many different. I don't.
Yeah, it's like grime and trap and then of course house and like bass house and all.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wonderful.
shout out to Joyride, not only for making that album, but for getting through his freaking shit, man. That I mean, I'm sure we've all been, through something similar, and I mean, we both went through the injury thing, and I'm sure you had to take friggin' pain meds for a femur break.
Oh yeah, they were like ODing me on like all types of shit. I was like throwing up all the time in the hospital. I was like, bro, like give me less drugs. I was like, oh.
Isn't that so funny? Like some of us, you're like, I can't, I don't want any more, and then other people are like, give me more.
Yeah, they were literally getting me like dope sick. Like they're giving me like whatever painkillers, and like I had the IV thing. It was like, ugh.
Did you have the morphine button?
I don't even remember. Apparently, it was like so long ago. I remember I drank like so much water though that they like unconnected like something. They're like, dude, like you drink too much water, like you're gonna like die. I was like, what?
Yeah, probably because you're getting the salt and the sugar out of your body, and
Yeah, because they were like pumping me full of like water and drugs, and then I was just like chugging, and they were like, all right, you don't need the water IV thing anymore. I was like, all right, whatever.
Dude, I've heard a lot of horror stories of people, going through an injury and being in the hospital, and they get a button that they can hit every 15 minutes with a shot of morphine. It's like every 15 minutes, like people, if an addict has that, like they got no shot. Of course they're gonna hit it every 15 minutes. Like, and then you do that enough, you ain't gonna feel that. So like,
yeah, right. Like tolerance, and you get addicted. It's a mess.
my one buddy, when he was like 12 years old, like went through a crazy blown out shoulder. He was gonna be like the next big football star in his town, and like, it wasn't until he was like 25 that he finally got help for his freaking heroin problem. Like, I'm not gonna say who it was or anything, but like, that like 13, 15 years, and you're only 25 of freaking all developing from that freaking button that he had every 15 minutes in the hospital. Like when you give a 12-year-old that, oh my God, that just, it breaks my heart when you hear stories like that. And But then you have other people like you that had all that stuff, and you're like, stop, like I don't want anymore. Like, so it's like everybody's different, like with so many things, body chemistry, with
Yeah.
that's why there's no one diet, there's no one exercise, there's no one anything.
True
Everyone
that.
has
True
to,
that.
yeah, everyone has to go through their own experiences, and if they don't, see, and like I can't even tell you like what's the right, like I've gone through mine experiences and built my own morals and values and stuff through it all. It's I don't know, man. I not even, it's not that I don't know, it's that I know now how much I don't really know. The more I learn, the
Yeah.
more I know that I don't know. Like, it's and dude, have you seen this this TV show on Netflix that Duncan Trussell has made with this little car? Oh, all right. I already know from your react, like you don't know what it. It's called Midnight Gospel.
Word.
Oh man, it's a trippy cartoon, but it's like a 25-minute podcast thing in a trippy cartoon talking about spirituality and meditation and life, and it's awesome, and like enlightenment and magic, and it is
What's it called again? Because I need more stuff to watch
yeah,
anyway. So check
Midnight
it out.
Midnight Gospel is the name of it. It is.
All right.
Duncan Trussell is one of my favorite people in the world. So when I heard he was coming out with a cartoon TV show, like, because I knew, I don't know him, right? Like, but because I know of him and what he's kind of about, I knew it was going to be
Yeah.
trippy as hell. But I also
Oh
knew it was going to
God.
be like about mindfulness and meditation and spirituality and all that, because I mean, his podcast, I forget the name. I'm sorry, Duncan. I love you, man. I forget the name of his podcast, but it's a lot of it's spirituality. Like some of them, he starts off with like a meditation and like it's awesome. It's awesome. But he's a comedian. Like he's a stand-up comic. Like and he's hilarious. He's hilarious. So for him to be able I was Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell. Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell are like really good friends, and so Joe Rogan had Duncan on his podcast, and like, the last one, like yesterday. So I was listening to it this morning, and Joe Rogan was like, "It's the most Duncan Trussell thing that Duncan Trussell's ever done to have to make this cartoon," and it's dude. Like last night I watched like 4 episodes in a row. I just couldn't stop. Like I was just like play next. And then finally like I fell asleep in the middle of, because it was so late. I just like fell asleep in the middle of it and woke up with, the screensaver Netflix freaking.
I could continue watching or whatever.
Yeah. It's not only like so entertaining, it's like when I really tune in and I'm listening, I'm like, it's like expansive of the
Blows
mind.
your mind.
It's awesome, and I highly recommend that for anybody.
Word. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, how's the family? How's everyone doing during all this? You guys, everyone's safe, healthy, and
I think so. I just been chilling home with my mom and just lockdown mode. I'm sure my brother's doing the same thing, just living with his girl and stuff. So
yeah,
social distancing.
I went over to my brother-in-law and sister's house, and for the first time hugged someone that wasn't my mom or dad, and I noticed it as I was going in for the hug, and I was like, oh my God. I hugged my brother-in-law. I was like,
this is kind of scary.
I was like, I need this. Let me hold on.
Oh God. Yeah, it's gonna be weird when this is all over. I feel like a lot of people are just gonna be all like
Yeah, like I want to get the antibody test because I was sick for a little while during this, and like 9 days had a fever and stuff, but I didn't have any respiratory stuff. Like they said, this attacks the respiratory system, and I have asthma and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if I had it or if I had some other flu or something. But
Yeah.
if I want to get the antibody test because I want to be able to donate plasma and give the antibodies because that's apparently helping people when they inject people that are sick with the people's plasma who have the antibodies who have recovered from the coronavirus. So if I can do that, awesome.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
And
Save people from shooting up hand sanitizer.
oh my God, they're taking shots of Clorox and said, "What is going on, people?"
Good old Tide Pod.
I can't believe some of the stuff that I'm seeing, and then people are like doing it.
Like, where do these people come from? Like, I feel like everyone I know or talk to, we're all like, yeah, like we're all like normal. You'd never do that weird shit. And then
Right?
like you see on the news, it's like, woman eats 30 Tide Pods, starts shooting people, throws up everywhere or some shit. Like, what?
Like how many people have we heard about on the news and stuff eating Tide Pods? But do you know anybody that's eating a Tide Pod?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, where are these people coming from?
Oh man, this shit blows my mind.
It's like the kids that ate like the Play-Doh back in the day when it looked like food.
You can make the hamburgers.
Like Play-Doh. Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Some of the stuff people do, and then like the other side of me is like, oh, but like I gotta have empathy for these people because I've done some dumb shit. And like, but like, there's some things it's just like, I don't know. Are they not educated? Are they like, or were they already tripping balls and friggin'
just tripping, saw a Tide Pod container. They're like, oh, berry blast.
Yeah.
Some good shit.
Oh, shit. That stuff. Too freaking fun, man. I just, the more I can show people that you drink water, you exercise, and you you eat real food, hopefully people can learn.
Yeah, for real. All I drink is water.
Water and black coffee. And beer, right? Oh, man. But shit. I don't really... I know I'm not running out of stuff to do during quarantine and stuff. My to-do list is always full, and there's always more. The more I set goals, the better my day is. That's all I know.
Yeah, I feel you. I got a lot of stuff to do here as well between all the music stuff and like PS4 and stuff. So just chilling, being a nerd. Doing music and video games.
And that's like most DJs and producers, right? We're all nerds. We're computer nerds.
Nerds that like to party.
Yeah. Oh, man. Just think of how much you got to nerd out on Ableton to get to know it. Like,
Oh, yeah. It's all just science and nonsense. Sound waves and shit.
But yeah, man. So what do you got going on the rest of the day? You finishing some music? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably work on some tunes. Probably smoke a little bit.
I wonder if Joe's woken up yet.
Probably not. I feel like he would have texted me in a panic and been like, "Oh my God, I missed the Free Yourself interview." I don't even know where my phone is.
I love Joe. Bless his heart. I know he was up working hard last night, right? That's
Like yesterday, I think I was like supposed to go to his house yesterday or something. Oh, for that stream that we were supposed to do with
Mhm.
Wooldor and all them, and I was like trying to call him all day. And then he calls me at like 6:00 p.m. and he's like, "Dude, I just woke up." I was like, "How are you just waking up?" I was like,
Yeah, how'd that live stream go?
It was pretty fun. We ended up just like splitting it because he has like a stream set up where he's at, and I got one here. So
Mhm.
we just set him up. He played a half hour, and then we just switched over the stream. And then I started playing another half hour, and
Oh
it was
yeah.
pretty fun. We had a pretty decent amount of people in there. People were commenting and all that. So it's good.
And
And it was
shout
just
out to
it's fun
the
for
homie
us too.
Waldor. What'd you
It's
say?
fun for us too. It's like I don't know, just throwing down, chilling with people. It's like kind
Hell
of like
yeah.
chilling with people.
Hell yeah. I miss doing the old free yourselves, but I just
Yeah, right. You were like ahead of the game right now. You're like
dude,
all
like
these people doing streams now. I did that shit years ago.
I literally stopped. It was a year ago. I think I stopped in June last year. I just got too sick of Facebook shutting me down with
Yeah,
the
it's like a lot to keep
copyright.
up with too, like every week or whatever. It's like, all right, like, but if you're just not feeling it one day, it's like,
Right? Like, and there were times where like I the cool part about it is like there were times where I'd be having like a rough day and I would just be like I would just get lost in the fact that I had to find new music, I had to plan the set out, and then I had to do it. And like my whole, if I'm showing that I'm having a bad day, no one's gonna want to watch,
yeah,
like it forced me to like some of those times when I'm like smiling and going ape shit. It's just like I had to act that way. Just but then by doing it, like I felt
it
better
kind of puts you in
after,
a better mood. Yeah,
right? Like just the act of smiling when you feel shitty, like releases endorphins in the body and stuff. And it's so it helped me. I mean, I did 100 episodes. That was that's why, the I wanted to find a way to bring Free Yourself back, and this was my way to do it. And also, like, my goal is to be able to still do once a month. I want to put out a Free Yourself how I used to do it, like with this setup and all that.
right.
I just, it has to be all unreleased, unsigned music, just as simple, like no edits, no remixes, no vocals of other, like that's the only way I'm gonna do it. And maybe, maybe instead of, well, not maybe, like definitely instead of Facebook, do it on Twitch and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
I feel
um
like Twitch has been working out too. That's another thing. So when we were doing that like viral meltdown stream the other day, they were supposed to do it on YouTube, and every time I clicked the link, it was like, this has been taken down for like copyright purposes. And I was like, all right, I was like, we're just gonna do this on our personal Twitch, like.
mhm.
And so
That's
yeah,
the
Twitch has
thing,
been working out great. So
dude. That's the thing. It's like,
and I love how it like stores your video after too, so you can like go back and watch it whenever. I think that's really cool feature.
yeah, yeah. The YouTube and Facebook has such heavy copyrights that it'll shut it down midstream.
Yeah.
Whereas Twitch, what people have been telling me is that it'll, after the fact, it'll just mute that part of the stream,
No,
which,
we're
so like, who knows? I just know at this point, like, if when we wind up doing the live stream, we're gonna be doing, I can't announce it yet. We're gonna be doing something, but
the
we're gonna be able to
secrets.
play an hour
Stay
of,
locked.
yeah, like
Locked
we're
in
gonna be able to do an
band.
hour of all our own original music. And I swear to God, if because some of the tracks are signed, if there's any sort of muting or anything, like that'll be the ultimate like slap in the face. Like, we made it.
Yeah,
Stop.
and that
Stop.
happens all the time too.
Just like, yeah, like, hey, internet, can you just let us DJs and producers have fun with everybody. We're providing happiness for everybody.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, man. That's why, Free Yourself is officially back and different. I'm
back
so
back
happy.
and better than ever.
And it's cool because like I can start off at episode 101, and it's not episode 1.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna continue with all of it, and there's a lot of room for growth with Free Yourself and the branding behind it and stuff. So, well, as I just saw, what's the see, here's a nice little quote that I had just seen. As you start to walk out on the way appears. Shout out Rumi, Rumi, Rumi. That's the person. I don't even know if that's a female or a male. But motivation app sending me beautiful quotes like that every day.
Some beautiful words.
So, but it was cool to like, cause a lot of the stuff that in motivation like quotes that I see, it when it's something like that, like I've just been talking about how like I might set long-term goals, but like as I start to do the little things that I think are leading me towards that, it changes the long-term goals. So
Right.
like that quote right there, like as you start to walk out on the way appears, and it's like
Yeah.
it
Makes all the sense.
it's free. The more I dive into mindfulness and spirituality and yoga and all this stuff, I'm not gonna say like I'm enlightened or
Are you gonna
like
turn into a crystal person?
right. Like, I do have a little Buddha guy and a little strength stone that my sister bought for me a while back. That's still sitting. It's right over by my little lion and stuff that's over in the corner. You can't see it. It's all.
I think
blocked.
I see Groot.
You see, we got baby Groot. No, we got teenage Groot and we got baby Groot.
Oh, yeah. The stages.
Groot's my favorite. He's the best. And Groot was in Groot was in most of the Free Yourself live streams.
Yeah.
He was always right in the front, of the S4, friggin' doing that. That's also another thing. Like my own ego wanted me to make sure that I got CDJs or the den and stuff before I started doing the live streams and stuff. Like
yeah, honestly, nowadays I hate anything that's not CDJ. It's just because at this point I'm so used to it. Like anything else just feels weird.
And it looks unprofessional. Like I'm just gonna say it. Like it looked unprofessional for me to have to sit there up there with an S4. Like it was a lot of fun.
Looks lame with like a little laptop. It's like all right, like
yeah. Like
I was never allowed to use laptops at clubs, so
right.
I had to do it the hard way, so y'all have to do it too.
Yep. It's and the only reason why laptops should be up for the live streams is for OBS and to live stream.
Let's stream in or like running visuals or something.
Yeah. So my own ego and my own, I need to be more professional and the thoughts of
that's just standard industry standard.
And I'm sorry, but that's expensive.
Oh yeah.
The S4, the S4s are $600 and under, which is still expensive. But
and then like one deck is like 2,000.
Like Chris got the Denons, but it was on sale for half price, so we got it was a Black Friday, so we got
the move.
Each of the SC5000 decks and the mixer for $3,000. The whole shot, and with the Denon, each deck is 2 because it has the AEG on it. So like
that's sick. I didn't know that. So you could literally do 4.
Yeah. Like the setup that a lot of people that use the Denons use is with two on one side and one on the other. So they have more freedom between them, so they don't have to A B. But
Yeah, sometimes flipping pages confuses me, but
yeah,
I'd like to have the option though for sure.
right, right. Like especially for a home setup. Like I think
Yeah,
first off, $3,000 for the whole Denon setup. The Denons are beautiful too. They got the
I've never
green.
got to I've never got to play with them. They look sick when they first came out. I wanted them so
Ah,
bad. I got a
yeah.
Denon right now, but it's not like the CDJ Denons. It's like the controller, but you can just do USB right in. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like CDJs, but it's like controller layout. So it's still just like, oh.
Yeah, they have a pretty. I mean, the DDJ 1000, it's like the virtual DJ controller. That has like two full jog wheels on either side and one screen in the middle. I think it's one screen in the middle instead of two on either side. So like Pioneer came out with that. So like
Oh yeah, yeah. That's essentially CDJs, just
that
smaller and two deck. Yeah,
and it's
that
only a
thing's
thousand
awesome.
bucks. I mean,
Yeah,
only,
that thing's.
right?
I was like about to just buy that. Like honestly, right before lockdown happened, I was like so considering buying that, and I just didn't. Which probably a
No.
good thing, cause yeah, life.
Yeah,
But
we don't know how long this is gonna be, and shit, man. That Denon controller that you were talking about, that you go in, they have. I know they have a Denon controller that has the screen on it too, and stuff. And
I don't
yeah,
know if you can see it. If it's too
yep,
dark, but there's a little screen on there.
yep.
USB somewhere. It's hard with a computer.
Good, you good. that.
I ordered faders for it. I only have one working fader. So hopefully that comes in the mail soon so I can fix it up.
It's just fader records now, right? That's what,
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
CrossFit.
I have the third channel fader still there. So I have channel 3 and then I have the cross fader. And like the way the faders broke, they all broke up. So as long as you match the gain, it's still possible, but it's such a pain.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. Chopping is now.
Yeah, yeah, you see me going like sideways instead of
I
like
can't even like do that. Like,
I'll like flick it. I'll be like
yeah.
instead of going like up and down.
Oh shit, man.
One fader rhythm
Yeah.
coming to you on Twitch.
Oh shit, man. But hey, I mean, if so, if I can go back to work and if this can get monetized and stuff, the goal is to put the like make as much of a down payment as I can, but do the payment options for either
Yeah.
CPAs, or maybe I might just go with the Denons, just for the simple fact where it is 4 versus 2. But I think it would be cool also if, like, whenever Chris and I played out, it's like I'm the Pioneer guy and he's the Denon guy, and like,
That'd be pretty wild.
like just another way. Because Chris and I, dude, I'm an Arsenal fan. He's a Chelsea fan. I'm a
Arsenal.
Devils fan. He's a Rangers fan. Giants, Jets,
Ah man. Y'all don't
Nets,
agree on
Knicks, like
anything.
everything we're opposite. Like, so it'd just be like another thing to add to us. Like, I'm Pioneer,
Yeah.
he's Denon. Like,
Just embrace it.
like
I wonder if you can do that. I've never tried it. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Where you can just get like a mixer, like a Pioneer mixer or something, and do like left side 2 Pioneer decks, right side 2 Denim. I'd imagine that works. It
well,
probably is
even if
weird
we
for
just
like
have
thinking, but
each mixer in the middle, and then our 2 decks on the other side, or even just 1 2 3 1 2 3.
yeah, because you can probably just RCA it all together.
Yeah. So who knows? In reality, in the worst case scenario, we both have the setup, and there's just 2 masters that go into a mixer like an outside mix, like I have a little 8-channel mixer that we could both master out into that, and then that can go
Right.
out to the speakers.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
always ways to make it work. Like Chris and I, because we've done plenty of like gigs where when we both only had controllers, where we were like, instead of doing one controller, let's both just bring our controllers out and plug into the
Right.
mixer, plug into the smaller mixer, and then out to the speakers. And that's that, having our own space like that is freaking so clutch.
Yeah,
And
it's nice.
and then what was fun for us to do was ear match to smoothly transition from him transitioning out of a song on his Pioneer thing to me transitioning into a song on the S4. Like,
Right.
and that, like, no one else knows that we did it, but we know, and we're like,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Definitely adds a little bit of a difficulty curve on that one.
It's fun. And Chris actually taught me how to beat match with the tempo fader instead of just edging the CDJ and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to say it's easier. It's definitely different.
Yeah, I've done it a few times, kind of on accident, but definitely possible.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever played out at a place where the mixer was a little shaky and you had
Oh yeah, so
or the
many
CDJ
times.
was a little shaky?
I've played on broken equipment more times than I should have.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the venue or the place that did it. It was
Yeah.
never. I would like to say it was never an issue when we did our headliner sets with Bass by the Beach and then Crossfaded Records and
Yeah,
like
nah, we don't play with that.
like
Only the
that
funds.
was always
Yeah.
a great setup. I will say that. So it was never any issues with Bass by the Beach or anything like that. But other places that we might have played, we're scratching our heads with some of the stuff that's reversed
Yeah.
or broken or
Broken cue buttons, broken play buttons.
Yeah, and like
not linked properly stuff. So like if you hit a hot cue, it like lags. So they're like pretty much useless. It's like, oh
my God. And like when I was first transitioning from using controller to using CDJs and stuff, how I would do it was with like on the tractor controllers, the play button and cue button are not like big and how I did it was I set hot cues and that's what I would use as the cue button, right? Like that's what I would use. And
right.
so making that transition, then having to do CDJ hot cue up here, I was doing that, and then I finally learned how to use the actual cue button and to set loops and all this stuff to transition it. But that was
I do have to say the hot cues on the Pioneer, like the Nexus 2s, those work amazing. The Nexus 1s, the hot cues don't even work. But the Nexus 2, they work real well, and I've like pretty much adopted my whole style to like the hot cues on that thing now.
Hell yeah. Dude, the Nexus
I use a lot of the memories too. Like I'll just hit that arrow to kind of just jump to cues. I do that a lot.
Dude, the Nexus 2s versus the Nexus 1s, it's like
massive.
Oh.
Touch screen, eight cues instead of 3.
Yeah. Oh my God. So that's the other thing.
Color, there's color on your waveforms.
Yeah.
You can just like see what's happening. You're like, oh, all right, this is clearly the drop.
Right. And the cool thing about the touch screen is the thing that you can see, like if it's a little, behind, I don't know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking
like
about.
The little lines.
This when you can make it to where it's the lines. I
that's
love
so
that.
much better than the blocks. The blocks suck. The blocks like don't even work.
I'm looking at it and it's because you're supposed to mix with your ears, right? Like obviously, right? But like seeing the blocks throws me off more than the hear. Like trying to hear and then see, you're like, but it sounds. But
no matter how good your songs are gridded out, the blocks completely lie to you, and they only run off like 32 bar segments. So if you hit it on a downbeat that's not on that 32 or whatever,
Yep.
it's gonna be like not
Mm-hmm.
on time. It's gonna think it's like off, which then throws everything off. So stupid.
Yep.
With the lines on the twos, it doesn't do that. You can hit the downbeat whenever, and it'll be like, yeah, like you're good.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, if I'm like in a rush, I'll hotkey and be like on the fly, like yeah.
And that's when when it was just the blocks and stuff, that's when Chris taught me how to do the tempo fader to beat match and stuff, and that was like a lifesaver. And then that was like right before the Nexus 2s came out, and then they had the line thing. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah. It's so simple, but such a game changer.
And it was like, why do I feel like I have more capabilities on a controller than on this professional equipment when I have the Nexus 1?
Yeah, now I feel the opposite. Now I'm like CDJ all day. Like I hate the little drum pad things on the bottoms now. I like the up top thing now. I like the wheels so much better.
Oh, just having the big jog wheels, that alone, the one cool thing that I do like on the Denons versus the Pioneers is there's a beat jumping knob.
That's nice.
Instead of doing like scrolling on the bottom of the screen to beat jump.
Right.
Because that was like my favorite thing that I liked about the S4 was that they had the beat jumping
shit was
knob.
clutch. It's like scoop.
Yeah. So like I could just take a hot cue and cue it up so it's beat matched with the song that's coming in, and then just let that play, and then just instead of setting a loop for that spot, I could just use the beat jumping knob. It was like a cheat code that I kind of used to keep the songs where I wanted to like come in.
Like if you don't like load up your track quick enough or whatever, then you beat jump.
It's like bah, 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 bah. All right. That's fine. So I like that capability. And
you can do that on the Nexus 2s. It's not a knob, but I think you got to do it on the touch screen, so it's a little weird, but you can do it. I don't really use it.
It's the scrolling on the bottom part,
No, there's a whole like other feature where it is literally beat jump. Like you can pick like eighth note, quarter note, or whatever you want to jump to. But it's like, I don't know, it's like kind of hidden in like the touchscreen area, and I don't use it much, but it's nice to know it's there and stuff. I kind of just, the way I set up my cues nowadays, I kind of make it so it would like the way I set up my cues, it's like a beat jump. Like I set it up like every 16 or I'm just making up numbers. Every like 17, whatever. I forgot.
No, I hear what you're saying, because the cues I either do, depending, like with Tech House, like because I'll use up all 8. I'll make sure that I have 8 cue points somewhere in the track. So sometimes with Tech House, I have to do it every 32 beats, and then sometimes with with the shorter songs, I can do every 16. That's something. And then also with hot cues and stuff, you can also set up a loop sometimes, and that's when when Chris and I get like a lot of time to prep for a set, that's when we can really do stuff like that, when we really
hell yeah.
And the more Chris and I prep, the less like nerves that I get going into a set, like no matter how big the stage is or how small, like just the more preparation that we do, the better we feel with it, even though we've never prepped a set one way and done the set the same exact way. Like that's never happened in our life. Like we always
I couldn't play the same set if I tried.
Right?
I just never planned it that hard. I couldn't.
Right? Because some of the fun of DJing is thinking of stuff on the fly and doing it. And
that's like my favorite part. I like pride myself on that shit. Like,
right, like being
pre-recorded sets, like God.
Like, but then there's the other side of the coin too, where it's like the more someone's prepped and recorded or done the preparation to be exactly to a T, that when that comes really in handy is when it's the video, the pyros, the lights, the lasers, when all of that has to come together. Like,
yeah, then you kind of have to do
you,
it.
yeah,
Then you're like, all
you
right, like
got
Pyro
to.
guy hit fire during that drop of that song, whatever.
And at the same time, like the person still did the set. Like it's not like
Yeah,
they didn't make it. It's not like someone else made the set for
yeah,
them.
it's not pre-recorded. It's just, I guess, pre-planned, which isn't a
Yeah.
bad
And
thing.
but dude, even if it was, even if it is a pre-recorded, set, if you're doing a pre-recorded set and you got nothing else going on, go fuck yourself. Go fuck. But if you pre-recorded your set and you've got everything else that you can
Like
possibly
mapped
have,
out
and
individually.
yeah, like that like I'm not gonna hate on you if you have the dead mouse cube and the visuals and the
Yeah,
like all that stuff. And even he, I mean, I don't know dead mouse, so I don't know Joel, so I can't tell you if he sits up there and pre-records and
yeah.
or anything, but I don't think he does.
Steve Aoki or whatever. Everyone knows his shit's like pre-recorded, and I knew that, and like I ended up seeing him live, and like I knew going in it was gonna be pre-recorded, and like it didn't really matter to me because I mean I hate when people do that shit, but like when I was there at the show, I was like, this is fucking sick. I was like whatever. I was like, who cares?
Steve Aoki puts on one of the best performances. Like,
Yeah, dude, it was sick. I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, he can get away with it.
and then he's gonna cake people, and it's fun.
Yeah. Like it's an experience. It's definitely a show, like
Hell
pre-recorded
yeah,
or
man.
not.
And look, let's
He does his thing.
that guy has paid his friggin' dues. All right. He started out with DJ AM doing underground raves in LA way back in the early 90s and shit. Like he has built his shit from the ground up, and he deserves every, accolade, every show that he gets, everything that he deserves it all. Like he's busted his ass.
Yeah, and all of his songs are fire too.
Hell yeah. And he's busted his ass for 30 years and he still looks like he did 30 years ago. Like he's doing something right with how he's, because he talks about like he had to drop the partying part of it, a long time ago. And
I actually met him briefly. I was like literally at the show I saw him at. It was the same night I won like backstage passes, meet and greet or something. So I got to like chill with it was like Steve Aoki, Borgore, and like Waka Flocka. It was that tour.
oh,
I didn't
wow.
get to meet Waka Flocka, but I got to talk to Borgore and Steve Aoki for a little bit. They had like karaoke set up in their green room. I was like rapping DMX and shit for them. There's a video of it somewhere in my Facebook.
That's
But
freaking awesome.
yeah, it was pretty wild. They're cool dudes. They're funny. They're
Hell
not.
yeah, man. Borgore was one of the first heavier guys that I listened to, back in the day.
He's a legend.
Yeah, man. He's been doing it forever too.
One of the OGs for sure.
The first song that transitioned me from liking, like, I don't want to call it house music back in the day, is more big roomy and stuff. From when it went from the where I actually started listening to specific genres of EDM, when it went to I heard Cockney Thug Caspa remix, and womp 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 womp.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this?
That was one of the first dubstep songs I ever heard.
Oh my god!
Literally, like Ruska's, like Woo Boost, Cockney Thug, and I think it was like Jehovah or something. Those were like the first 3 dubstep songs I ever heard, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Midnight Panda down in Atlanta, Sage. He's the one that showed me that. And it was funny because like, Dead Mouse was around then, like all the, Afrojack and Tiesto and all that. And he's the one that showed me that song. And I'll never forget the first time, after he showed me it, I came back to his house and I was like, yo, like the next day I was like, what was that one song that was like really heavy and like womp and he's like, you mean this one? And he played it. I'm like, this is the best song. He's like, of all the music, he's like, this is the one. I was like, that's the one I like the most. That is my freaking favorite.
That's a slapper right there.
Oh my gosh, that's what opened the door for me to for the dubstep to creep on in, and I started liking heavier shit, and then not too long after that is when ID Fest seeing Excision and just being like, I got a awesome health and coaching degree that I because exercise and fitness and health is my other passion. So I'm very grateful that I have that degree, and that the experience that I had there led me to it helped me find out what I really wanted to do. And what I really want to do is make music and DJ and this and all this stuff. It's so grateful for that because if I didn't go and study all of that, I wouldn't have found, or I don't see, again, I don't know if I would have found this, but it's something that through my life and experiences, this is what I've come to find. And
right.
Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen, and it's a beautiful thing. How did you get into DJing and stuff? I know you said that you started with the wedding company with that you were DJing, but how did you what made you even dive into that? Did I lose you? And there we go.
Ooh. Are we here? No. Does it work?
I'm hearing you every 10 seconds.
Ah, man, my internet sucks.
I heard that statement. now you're coming back. Did you hear the question that I was asking?
Yeah, how the wedding started and stuff.
Yeah, like how'd you get into DJing and stuff? Because I know the wedding stuff led to the Weekend Warriors, but how did you even decide that you wanted to start doing that? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, I've been pretty like heavily involved in music my whole life. Like when I was like elementary school, I was playing like trumpet and shit in the band, and in high school I was in a metal band playing bass, like bass guitar. And then just like going through life, graduating, I was like, all right, that shit's awesome. I was already kind of like making crappy hip hop beats and like garage band, and then I saw that Excision show in like 2010, whatever, and I was like, all right, like this is sick. I want to try to make this. So my shitty garage band rap beats started becoming shitty garage band dubstep, and then I just stuck with it. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life as far as like career, getting a job in college and shit. So I went to like community college with like what's it called? Like when you don't have like a real major, what's that shit?
Undeclared.
Yeah, it was like undeclared or like liberal arts degree or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, I realized after a year of that, I was like, this is stupid. I was like, this isn't gonna help me. So I ended up going to this audio school in New York called IAR.
Okay.
And it's like a 9-month program. They teach you like audio engineering. And honestly, I didn't learn shit there. I had a good time, but I had learned shit. They gave me a little piece of paper that got me an internship at Lake House Recording Studio. And then that's when I really started to learn shit. about like EQing, compression, all that stuff. So I started applying the shit I learned at the studio to dubstep, because no one really taught me dubstep. Like no one taught me how to make beats. So I had to figure that shit out by myself and kind of apply things I learned. And then yeah, I just kept doing it. Actually, funny story, when I was in the studio interning, it was like I had just went to that festival, Hudson Project, and that shit was a mess. But anyway, I come back from that weekend, and my first day back at work at the studio, I walk in, these dudes, I'm sure you've heard of them, Disco Fries. They were there, and then I walked in. They were like cool as hell. They're like, "Oh, what's up?" And then like 5 minutes later, like 311 walks in the door, and I was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "This is a crazy day back," because like usually like in the studio you're recording local bands, local rappers, whatever. So this was like working with big names now, and I set up all the mics and stuff. I like assisted and engineered that like whole session. And they made that song like Head in the Clouds. It's a Disco Fries 311 collab.
No shit.
So that was like pretty cool. I worked on that. And then like a year or two later, I'm watching TomorrowLand live stream, and fucking Tiesto's plays the song, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, I recorded this shit. I was like, what is happening? I was freaking out.
That's so sick.
And then so that definitely pushed me more into like the I can like do this like type shit. And then so yeah, I just kept grinding it out, just working on tunes like every day. And yeah, here we are today.
Damn, man, that must have been because I'm not gonna lie, like I haven't been at a festival and heard my song or like anything, sort of like that yet. Like, I mean, Game Over came out in October, and there hasn't been many festivals since then. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but when I go on 1001 track list and I see that who supported the track, like that moment is one thing, but to be watching Tiesto, the biggest DJ in the world, play a song that you were in the studio and worked on, like,
yeah, dude, it's nuts. And it's like I feel weird telling people that too, because I feel like no one believes me. But dude, I dead ass have all of that on my Instagram. If you go like way back, I wasn't allowed to take videos in the studio session, but I did anyway. I was like, this is nuts. So I took like a secret video. I like hid the phone like by my leg. Just like it was like recording it real shitty. So I got the proof there, and then I have like the video of him playing it too, and I was like, word.
That's so sick, man. Freaking Tiesto, he's been doing it for so friggin' long.
Dude, like him of all people. It's like what?
Yeah.
And it's like not even my song, and I'm just like still hyped, just knowing like no one even knows I like worked on the track. I probably have like no credits on it if you look it up, but just knowing that it gets me hyped. And like,
hell yeah.
That was like the first thing I did that was like got put out in like the big spectrum of the music world, I guess you could say.
Hell yeah, man. That's freaking sick. And on not just Tiesto at TomorrowLand, like
yeah.
So Tiesto was probably playing the 10 o'clock slot, like.
Yeah. I don't even remember. I could go back and check, but
Yeah, I mean,
it was surreal.
that's freaking so sick, man. That's so sick. And Disco Fries, and they've been doing it forever too. I mean, there's the evidence right there that they've been doing it forever. They
Yeah, and this was probably like 2013, I want to say, or actually no, probably like 2014, 15, because I graduated that school in 2013. So and then I got that job like a year later.
Hell yeah, man. Oh, so that's Tiesto at like, what is that, like Red Light and like that whole
I'm not even sure.
and like it's better when we're wasted. That My heart. Because it might have been 2014. It might have been 2016 actually when those tracks came out at Made in America. Tiesto was one of the headliners. That was the year Kanye was one of the headliners.
Oh my god.
So it was whatever year My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out. That album, which is by far my favorite Kanye album of all time. If not, it's like top 5 of my favorite albums ever. The whole production that he made with the music like video that's like a half hour long with it and everything, like and I remember
the whole movie.
Yeah, like I remember Tiesto's set. I think it was Tiesto, and then it was Kanye because I remember Tiesto and his set playing Red Light and playing Wasted, and I think he even played the Umed Ozcan. I hope I didn't just butcher Umed's name. Umed Ozcan, I think that's how you say it. He's a legend.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I love his tunes.
he's been around forever too, and that his remix of that song Wasted is heavy for like it's heavy for 132 beats per minute, and then during Kanye's set, I was pretty fucked up, but I was crying during Kanye's set when he played let's have a toast for the douchebags, like that. Like, it's me.
I'm the douchebag.
I'm like, no, it's okay. Let's get it. And because that was the first time I had seen Kanye too, and like Kanye's been, whatever about Kanye. All right, he has made some of the best music in the history of the freaking world.
He's a little crazy, but you can't deny his talent.
Like, he puts out hits, man, and that whole album was freaking is amazing. And that year at Made in America was probably my favorite because of the diversity and how much I loved the headliners that were there instead of just with Tiesto, it's a lot more of a respect thing. Like I might not love the music that Tiesto puts out. Like it's a little more poppy and stuff, but whatever. Whatever. The dude is one of the ultimate legends of electronic music. Like the amount of respect for him and what he's built that I have is bar none, one of the best ever. And then to have Kanye there. I remember Big Sean, J. Cole, like some of my favorite hip hop artists of the time, and I mean even now. And then having A-Track DJ that year, he's a legend, another legend. Like who else was there? That might have been the year. No, I think it was a different year that Axwell and Grosso and Bass Nectar were there too. That was the next year, I think.
Massive.
2 of the 3 Swedish House Mafia people, and then Bass Nectar. Oh my God, that that was epic. And then GTA was there the year the Tiesto, Kanye, A-Track. Oh my God, that friggin' festival was so much fun. I remember my buddies were pulling me away from, like, we watched like the first couple songs that Big Sean did, and my buddies were like pulling me away, and I'm like, no, I want to see Sean. They're like, but we gotta go see GTA, and I'm like, both favorite. I don't know.
It's that crucial festival moment where you don't know what stage to go to.
Because I know at that point that was the Finally Famous album with Big Sean, so like the song I Do It and stuff and High, and so like I knew every word to that whole album. So I wanted to stay, but GTA, that's like that's not the year that Booty Bounce came out, but that was like Hard House. That was the year like Hard House and stuff came out.
Like the massive like trap boom.
Yeah. So it was like at that point, it was like one of my favorite artists in electronic music versus one of my favorite in hip hop. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm EDM. I'm a producer. I'm DJ. I gotta go to the I gotta go to the DJ.
True that. True
Simple
that.
as that. But yeah, man, that was a great. That whole festival was incredible, and the Made in America has gotten a lot more. I don't want to say mainstream. It's gotten a lot more like hip hop and stuff in recent years, and a lot less of the electronic music or
Like Coachella.
and see, Coachella is one of those things that like I so want to check off the bucket list. Like, of course, not just to go to. Like, of course, I want to play Coachella. Of course, like,
Yeah, I mean,
but it seems to be getting more like what I would have given to be at that Coachella Daft Punk set in 2000, whatever it was, 2000. I don't even know. But I've watched it like 10 times on, on the computer. Man, like that year, and because that was the year Get Lucky with Pharrell and stuff, so they brought him out.
Yeah.
And what I would
Seeing Daft Punk would be nuts.
yeah, they above all, they're the ultimate legends in electronic music. They're number one, and fuck you if you tell me different. Like, to anybody that tries to question that, like, I don't care they are the best ever in my opinion. Of course, I gotta say, in my opinion, there's so many. The beautiful thing about it is that there's so many genres and so many people that have done it so many different ways, and it's all got its own special place. It's all in my heart. Good shit, man. What was your favorite festival experience, or one that you can pull from that you remember that really made an impression on you? Besides that Excision one that we both share that now.
Favorite festival. Favorite festival overall, or favorite experience?
Yeah, favorite experience, because my favorite festival is way different than the Made in America one.
All right. So, I gotta think about this one. I've been to so many.
Or what's just like one good memory that you have from a festival? Is there anything that sticks out to you?
All right. I don't know if it was my favorite experience or festival, but since it was just pure chaos, I'm just gonna go with Hudson Project.
I never got a chance to go to that. What was because Hudson Mohawk, isn't he?
So basically, what happened? Camp Bisco used to be in upstate New York at this place called like Indian Trail Country Club or something like that. And then I'm not really sure what happened, but that stopped. So there was no Bisco for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So to replace No Bisco, I think it was the same company. They did a Hudson Project. It was like pretty much, it's like a crazy similar lineup to whatever Camp Bisco usually was, like half jam bands, half like DJs, craziness. And yeah, that was honestly like my favorite festival ever. But like the third day didn't even happen because it was like this crazy like hurricane monsoon thing, and like dude, everything, they told everyone to leave. Like that morning they were like, shit is about to go down, you all gotta go home. And then like everybody was just kind of like in denial, just like, nah, like we'll be fine, whatever, like the little storm will pass, whatever. Dude, that storm ruined fucking everything. They had to call like American Red Cross, like all the cops, like everyone, dude. It was like a whole scenario. Like people's cars were like literally in the earth. I had to like sit there was like the parking lot to the campgrounds. You had to like it was like not a car camping festival, so you had to like lug all your shit to the campgrounds. And dude, this place was like flooded. It turned into a swamp. There was like snakes and frogs and shit. Like all over the campgrounds. And like when we were trying to leave, we were like taking all of our stuff. We should have just left it there because everything was destroyed. But we took all of our camping stuff, and the little bridge thing or staircase, whatever, that we took to get to the campgrounds was like completely flooded in like waist deep, like disgusting swamp water nastiness. And dude, we had an air mattress, like still with the air in it. We put all of our shit on the air mattress and like sailed it across the swamp and fucking just packed up our cars and stuff. And unrelated to the weather too, like the day zero, like the before even the first night of Hudson, we got there early just to like kick it, party, get a good spot, whatever. And dude, I was like wasted, and it didn't even rain yet, but like the campgrounds were kind of like muddy and stuff. So I was wasted trying to find like the porta potty or something, like take a piss, and like I guess I like got lost, and I somewhere in me getting lost, I stepped in this like quicksand or some shit, and it pretty much like, dude, it like ate my shoes. Like I stepped in it, I took another step out, my shoes stayed on the ground. And then I tried to pull my shoe like from the earth, and like, dude, it was not happening. Like the earth swallowed that shit. It was gone. So the whole weekend I had no shoes. I had like I ended up finding random stuff. Like I found a left-footed flip-flop. So I was walking around with like one flip-flop for like half a day, and then like halfway through the first day, I'm walking past like the main stage gate, whatever, and security guard's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Bro," he's like, "Where are your shoes?" I was like, "They're gone. They got swallowed." And then like there's this random like left-footed moccasin thing like at the like checkpoint, and then the guy's like, "Here, man, just take this," and I was like, all right, I got nothing else. So I was literally the whole festival with a left-footed flip-flop and a left-footed moccasin, like two left feet and shit. So I was like, so yeah, that was like the roughest festival ever as far as like accommodations, I guess, or like campgrounds, whatever. And like, I don't know, something about it was just so much fun still. And like, I was roughing it so hard, but I didn't give a shit. It was so good.
Was that did they only do that 1 year?
Yep. One and done.
Because I remember seeing that lineup. I feel like it also had like Kendrick Lamar on it.
Yep, that I saw Kendrick Lamar there. It was like Kendrick, Bass Nectar, Excision, Tipper, Moby, like all these ridiculous high profile names. I was like, oh my god, lineup was nuts.
I remember seeing that lineup and like wanting to go so bad and just not doing it. And then I heard about the crazy storm, and everyone was saying it was like a mud, just a mud pie the whole festival.
Yeah, it literally turned into a swamp. People were like sliding, like creating mudslides and shit. Like ultimate work hours.
Yeah, right. This is the first like firsthand experience that I've ever heard from the actual festival. And so it was always just like it was like news that I had heard that about the Hudson project. And
yeah, they had to like refund people and everything. I honestly loved it. I'm sure everyone else you talked to probably hated it, but it was awesome.
That's like because Bisco, the reason why I said before, like my favorite festival ever was Bisco 2016. That they just know how to throw a festival. Like,
yeah, I love Bisco. I've been to Lost Lands twice, but other than that, Bisco is the only festival I've been to more than once, and I've been there like 8 times or some shit. Like,
hell yeah, man. Bisco 2016 had it was the most diverse electronic music lineup that I'd seen there. Like usually it was a lot more bass heavy and especially
actually, I think 2016 was the year I skipped. It was that the first year at the Mountain?
Yeah, at Montage.
Yeah, that's the one I missed that one.
Dude, that I it had everyone from like Marshmello to like MK, who's like a king of tech house versus like the ultimate. And this was Marshmello like right when Where Are You Now Marshmello remix and then the Skrillex, flip of it, and it was like right at that time when that was out. So like then I loved Marshmello way more than I do now. Like back then, Marshmello, it was like that. And so Marshmello, besides the Disco Biscuits set to close out, like Marshmello closed out the festival, and then everybody went to go see Disco Biscuits close out. It was Marshmello was the and you know how they had the wave pool.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's my favorite stage.
Yeah, that's where Marshmello played at the wave pool. Like it was so
That's lit.
Oh,
Wave pool stage all day. Fuck the main
dude,
stage.
I'm not gonna blow up my friend's spot who was tripping balls, but one of my friends was there with where we found the frisbee. I don't think I brought a frisbee. I think we found the frisbee, and he was tripping balls, and we were and I was dead sober, and we're playing frisbee in the wave pool, and I don't know how you trip balls and are able to catch a frisbee, but he was killing it, and this was all happening during 12th Planet at the wave pool. So 12th Planet.
That was like that legendary set with that video with people going nuts when R2, D2, whatever.
Dude, 12th Planet.
Every song I went to Bisco's literally because of that set. I saw that video. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, that was one of it was hands down the best festival that I've ever been to. Also because it was at a water park, and there was the wave pool, and there was the big how do I
the slides and stuff.
Yeah, but the one where you have, it's like a couple people on one thing, and it goes up, and you go into like the swirl down into
the cone thing, right?
Yeah. So that was freaking sick. Who else did we see? Oh, Zed's Dead was there.
Fire.
And that was when Zed's Dead had the song Ratchet Bitch.
Yeah.
That was they were a little, dude. Yeah, dude. That shit was sick. That was the first time I saw Odessa. They put on a friggin' show. Like,
I think I saw them at Hudson Project. I could be wrong,
dude. And that was a year where they had Big Grismatic. So they had Big Gigantic Grizz and Grammatic all playing together. Oh.
I saw Big Grismatic at summer camp, and dude, that was insanity.
Hell yeah, man.
That show was like so packed. When I was leaving the crowd, I didn't touch the ground once. Like, it was so shoulder to shoulder. I was literally like floating out of the crowd, being essentially carried out. Like, my feet were like a couple inches off the ground, but I wasn't walking. Yeah. I was like literally getting like carried out. It was crazy. That was insane. Crowd was more insane.
Did Lil Dicky perform?
Oh, I saw Lil Dicky at summer camp. That was wild.
Dude,
that was during the whole like the pro-choice, pro-life debate, like the whole abortion thing. It was like that was like the year that shit was like super relevant. And dude, halfway through the set, Lil Dicky's like, pro-choice, pro-choice. He just like starts like chanting. I was like, yo! I was like, you can't be doing all that.
That's freaking epic, man.
That's a trip.
Dude, he cracks me up, and now he's got the TV show Dave on FX.
I've been watching it. I'm like 5 episodes in, I think.
I don't have Hulu, so I've only seen the last 3 episodes because it's on like
normal TV.
Yeah, so I recorded it because my buddy had told me about it, and my first instinct was like, oh, I'll just catch up on demand, but it's not on demand. So I was all right. So I just got to start, or I got to buy Hulu.
It's mad funny. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's a trip, man. And he's from the Delco area in Pennsylvania. Where a
Yeah, I
lot
never knew that until like that show either. So that's pretty cool too. He's like pretty like I guess local-ish to us.
Yeah, and all the people in the Delco area that I went to Westchester with, you know, they rev him so hard.
Oh, I bet.
But shit, I would too, man. I love Lil Dicky. He's the man.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he is the man, yeah.
Yeah, but that show is freaking great. And when I heard that getting announced, I was like, yo, Lil Dicky is the perfect rapper to have a TV show like.
Yeah, he's just like so weird and awkward and just like I don't even know.
Right? Like all this music makes you crack up. So like of course
Yeah.
like his personality is just hilarious. So it's
He gets in like all these like weird, like stupid arguments. I feel
Yeah.
like he's almost like he's like Larry David or some shit, but like the
Yeah.
rapper form.
That's a great comparison. Oh man. Like the awkwardness of the conversations and same with his what's his friend's name, the black guy that produces. I forget his
Taco?
name. Is it Taco?
Yeah, that's like Tyler the Creator's boy. Taco is the dude in the show who's like his DJ slash engineer.
So and
I forget his name in the show though. It's not Taco.
Okay. So
That's like his Tyler the Creator name is Taco.
Okay. he meets Benny Blanco and Justin Bieber in that whole episode, and Benny Blanco like trashes his freaking beats, and then he shows.
Oh god, I haven't even seen that yet. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, dude!
It's all good. It's all good. The last episode I saw was like when he plays his first show.
Before, you know, I'll rewind. I'll edit this part. I'll put spoiler alert before I say it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Dude, it's hilarious. And Benny Blanco is wild.
I saw a clip too that like Marshmallow like headbutts Taco or some shit. I didn't see that episode yet, but I look forward to it.
I think that was the last one. That was the second to last one. So last week was a different one where he went to like his girlfriend's sister's wedding, and then
yeah, I gotta catch up.
Dude, so freaking good, man. Shit, I am going to go take a piss real quick. I drank a lot of coffee and water, and I've been holding it, thinking like I can last, but I can't. So I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
Oh yeah, do your thing, yep.
All right. Yeah, man, friggin' Lil Dicky. Awesome. I saw him at a couple. I saw him at another festival. I forget because I've seen him twice. And I forget what other festival I saw him at. But both times he was like, "Oh, it was at Izu." He was at Izu.
Izu, what's he doing at Izu?
Right, and he played off of that. Right, he was like, "So, I don't know why I got put on this lineup. Like, I'm a rapper." And he's like, "I don't even like electronic music." And then like his DJ drops Skrillex. Like Banger or something, and he's like, nah, cut that shit. And then he's like, yo, so let's be honest, who in this crowd actually bought my album? And like, me and like maybe 30 out of the like 300 people at the stage were like,
yeah. He was probably just like, what am I doing?
Oh my god, that was at that year Izu. I only went to the one day, and we picked to go to that day because Lil Dicky was gonna be.
Hell yeah!
And
I like when like festivals do that. It's a nice switch up, at least for someone like me who likes like everything.
Hell yeah, man! And like E-Forest had freaking Super Duper Kyle. Freaking that right when I Spy came out with Lil Yachty, and that was so awesome. He pulled. Shout out to him for his live performance. We all know what crowd surfing is, right? He legitimately took out a longboard surfboard and freaking crowd surfed on that surfboard.
Whole new definition to crowd surfing.
Like I got a picture of him like this on the surfboard. Like,
yo, do you remember when it was like a pretty popular trend in like around like 2011, 12, 13-ish area where like, dude, mad DJs would go like crowd rafting. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been to mad shows. They have like an inflatable raft and like the dudes like go on it, crowd surfing and shit.
That like listen, I'm gonna be honest, like I haven't played a show where it was that big of a friggin' crowd yet. Like besides Noto. But like Noto, you're not doing that. Like that stage is way too high to be jumping off of. But I want to do that so bad, like do a stage dive so bad. That's
the day will come.
Check off my bucket list so bad.
I feel like if I jumped off, no one would catch me.
You gotta
be like, oh shit, they'd be like, oh, he big as hell.
Like if Chris did a stage dive, I don't know. but if I do it, I'm a little guy, you know. I'm about 170 pounds soaking wet, you know.
I know that Datsik is shunned from life, but I remember particularly I was at a Datsik show back in the day, and he crowd surfed, and like I was like holding him up at one point, and I was like about to rip his shoe off, and I took it. His shoe was like half off, and then I was like, I'm an asshole, and I just like shoved it back on before like throwing him away. Looking back, should have took his shoe.
Yeah, right now it's like, well, you're not. But
like I got Datsik's shoe in my closet. Probably would have gone on the mic, be like, yo, who the fuck got my shoes?
Yeah. One of many Datsik things in the closet. Ooh, no. I might have to edit that out.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I can't do it.
Nah, keep it.
No, like that shit, you know, we're not even gonna talk about that anymore. I don't know. But I saw Steve Aoki. So Steve Aoki I've seen a couple of times, and at TomorrowWorld when I went down to Atlanta, the one time that I went down and actually went to TomorrowWorld.
That's probably sick.
Dude. So first off, I remember this is like big room and trap are like the top genres at this point.
Booming at the moment.
So like Brills was there, freaking Wastradamus, freaking Green Lantern had a set, freaking Carnage. Like that's when like all of them were at their, well, Carnage is still, you know, top of the freaking food chain with that heavy music and shit. But it was that, and they had the Super You and Me stage, which is like Layback Luke's thing at TomorrowLand and TomorrowWorld. LL. Yeah, he always does that in the build-up and shit. That's like, shout out to LL. We got to open for him. That was awesome at Noto. But the Super You and Me stage, I'm at main stage, and I had just seen Chucky, followed by Fetty LeGrand, followed by Porter Robinson, back to back, back when all three of them, like at the top of the food chain with that. And I'm sitting there, and I have my Pi Kappa Phi flag, I have that, and a whole group of Pi Caps from UCF came up to me, and they have a Pi Cap flag on like one of the 30-foot flag poles that bend, so they wave it. It's like going nuts. You see at so many of the after videos for TomorrowWorld that year, you see the PyCap flag going like all over the place.
Yeah.
But they came up to me and we're talking for a little bit and they're like, "Yo, are you going to see Batman, Superman, Spider-Man or Batman, Superman?" Yeah, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. That's what I think it was. And I'm like, "No, I don't know who that is. Like, why would I go see that?" And they're like, "Because it's Steve Aoki, Laid Back Luke, and Dimitri Vegas." And I'm just like,
What?
why are they Batman, Superman, Spider-Man? It makes no because it's the Super You and Me stage. So they all dressed as those characters and they all had a massive B2B with freaking those three on stage and that's when Steve Aoki did a stage dive. And the reason why I brought this up is because someone stole his shoe off of him.
I was almost that guy.
Yeah. That was such a dope freaking show. And so in the middle of them three DJing on stage, this guy comes out dressed as Iron Man and he's dancing behind them like full Iron Man suit. And like at this point, and this is like 6 o'clock at night. I've been there all day, like maybe even a little bit later, maybe like 8 o'clock. So I at this point, like I'm not looking at the schedule anymore and trying to find people. I'm just like going all over the place because we're just experiencing TomorrowWorld. And so I don't know who's on next. And I'm not thinking about that. I just see Iron Man on stage, and I'm like, "Oh shit, fucking Iron Man!" And then Steve Aoki gets on the mic, or it might have been Layback Luke, either one. One of them gets on the mic, and they're like, "Are you guys ready for Benny Benassi?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And Iron Man takes his mask off, and it's Benny Benassi.
Oh my god!
Yo, that
massive.
Shit was so epic. And so before the Batman, Superman, Spider-Man set was John Dahlbeck, and he was dressed as I don't even know, like because I didn't know who it was until I looked it up. And for those people that don't know, John Dahlbeck is one of the three people in Bro Hug, so shout out to them and John Dahlbeck. But Carnage was dressed as the Hulk, and he was the set right before Batman, Superman, Spider-Man.
Wow.
That was like, maybe a year after that was when Festival Trap remixes were the shit.
Like the ting, yeah.
So his Festival Trap remix of Spaceman, that like blew him up. Like, so that year was like EDM at its peak for me. Like that was like all my favorite genres that at one time with so many, like Hardwell was killing it then. Like it was, Hardwell was at that show, and Steve Aoki and Afrojack did a set as Afroki together.
Oh yeah,
that was like 2 years after No Beef. So like
just a bunch of crazy back to back.
That freaking festival was insane, man. Like
I could have went there for free too. Like this girl was trying to give me a free ticket, but that's the same year I was going to that school in New York, and that was like the same weekend of finals. So I was like, I got to be responsible for once.
I had that was the year.
I should have went though. Fuck.
For me, it was September. It was late September, so it was the beginning of my victory lap, my 5th year of college. So it was the beginning of the semester. So it was like, maybe a month into the semester. So I was just like, yeah, we're driving down. We left on like Thursday and came back like Monday morning and some shit. Like we drove down, like it was so sick. It was me and 3 of my buddies that all went down. And we got to see our buddy Say Midnight Panda perform, and it was awesome. And our buddy, shout out to Teddy Rose, my man, Vandal Rose. We got to see him, and Say and DeBroca and all the homies down there. That was Cali, that was such a great trip. So because it wasn't just TomorrowWorld, like it was TomorrowWorld, and we got to like see our buddies and our bros.
Oh yeah.
because CJ, all three of the guys that I went down there with were all from Westchester, and CJ, how me and him met was at Westchester, and he was a goalie of the roller hockey team that I played, the Westchester roller hockey team, and him and two of his fraternity brothers were in the. It was me, two of his fraternity brothers, and one guy who lived next door to their fraternity, and so it was all of us like having our reunion down there. It was sick, man. I'll never forget that trip. That trip was freaking insane. And, oh my God, that whole festival. And who else did we see perform? Oh, and then who's headlining that day of TomorrowWorld? Tiesto, and we saw him at the main stage. So he closed out that day at TomorrowWorld. That day was freaking epic. Like all those names that I just said was one day of freaking TomorrowWorld. Like that shit was nutty, man. Everyone,
straight stacked.
Yeah, that lineup was insane. I trying to think of who else we saw that day, but that's. Because that's not even everyone that performed, but that's everyone I can remember off the top of my head. That was a friggin' epic freaking day at TomorrowWorld, because that was
sounds ridiculous, dude. Sounds like a mental thing.
Yeah, dude, it was insane. That whole weekend was nuts, but shit, man, we have embarked on the 3-hour mark. I love it. And it never feels like it when we're doing it. I love this.
God damn, yeah.
It's always good to catch up with you, man. Like I said before, I friggin' me and Chris, you guys have a special place in our heart, the Weekend Warriors. When is the
and you as well.
We love you guys. So upcoming, we've got some Weekend Warriors coming out soon, right? And
coming soon to a theater near you,
and
or a Beatport near you.
Yeah. And everybody, make sure you go and check out his Oilad stuff that came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like a week or two ago. Yeah, I don't even remember.
The Oilad drop, that EP. Everybody check out Crossfaded Records, all that good stuff. CFR, and we will hopefully be able to see each other in person soon, and
for real.
Daps and hugs and show the love, and yeah, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. We'll get Joe when he wakes up. But thank you seriously from the bottom of my heart for giving me your time to come on to the Free Yourself podcast. I love you to death.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been good talking to you. Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, yeah, man, stay safe, wash your hands, all the good stuff during
for
all
real.
this. And I'm looking forward to the next Weekend Warriors and Oilad releases and shit. And yeah, throw the dubs up, right?
Throw the dubs up.
So I'll talk to you soon, brother. Everybody,
all right, brother.
Peace, love,
Peace.
Unity, respect.
Play.
I'll talk to you soon, man. I love you, brother.